What's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? Come on in here and let's get this started. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Um, I know it was a bit late, but I wanted to make sure I had everything prepared for this live. So I appreciate you guys so much for your support. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We have some videos we need to check out, and two of them being Turkey Tom. So we're finally going to get to the analysis that he did on Tyler Robinson. And then there's a clip with hey Francisca, how you doing? There's a clip from Paramount Tactical. I think it's like an 8-9 minute video clip where he kind of gives us a synopsis of what was discussed in their interview with in his interview with Alex Jones. So y'all know how I feel about Alex Jones. He's not like the best person on earth. But as far as somebody really, telling the truth on Candace Owens, he's probably one of the best. I mean, everyone can, but the fact that he being one of the biggest conspiracy theories ever that cost him money. And he's even saying this is ridiculous with Candace. Candace, girl, you have her. You cannot, you just can't escape at this point what you're doing. It's awful. So we're gonna get to it. I've got some milk bar to start off. And S File sent me a video from was it the story box of another content creator who literally said Candace does not put out the facts. You would think these cult members, if they're gonna sit here and simp, and this content creator is a whole grown man. And so Storybox did a video about him. I've never heard of him. His name is Jesse on Fire, with Fire, something fire. Something fire, Jesse something. And just the fact that he says this as if he's helping. It just, So yes, we're gonna just take that and run wild with it. Might as well. It doesn't stop Candace from lying like hell. Girl, your own co-members are saying you don't put out facts. It's just like her saying she's an alien. We're going with that. You can't make this up. Good evening to all of you all. Happy Friday. We made it. It's raining in my area, so it's just going. Oh man, I'm gonna get some good sleep tonight. I appreciate all of you all for tuning in. As you can hear, my voice is just exhausted. It's been a good 2 weeks, but definitely need to catch up on some sleep and some rest. And I wanted to make sure I go live because I've been trying to get these Turkey Tom videos in, for at least the past week. And so many of you guys recommended that we check that out because he does a good deep dive on Tyler Robinson, and it'll get us a little bit of a brain break, kind of prepare us all for what's to come when Candace goes live on YouTube, because she keeps going live everywhere else, but not in YouTube. Candace, the clown stuff you do, it's just at this point we have to laugh at you. Why is she all over social media but not on YouTube again? So yeah, tomorrow we have to check out her Facebook Live. I don't know if it was Facebook, Instagram, whatever, but she never posts those live streams and videos to YouTube. And so, the good people are here on social media because the internet is undefeated, Candace. Do take the time to take those videos and upload them to YouTube so that we can all check them out and see what's going on. I'm here to debunk. Yep. So, and of course, we still have to go over the federal lawsuit filed against her and several others regarding this fraudulent meme coin, that pump and dump scheme. Candace, you got involved in. Can't make this up. So, thank you guys so much. As you come in, make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe to the Lady Luck Club. We are on our way to 50,000 supporters, and I would love to hit that goal by March 31st, which is my birthday. So that would be just an absolute blessed birthday gift, and I just cannot do this without you all. I literally cannot watch Candace without you all. I tell people, I say I can't. I literally cannot watch, even if someone has a video with her in it. even if I just do a snippet, it's just like, oh, I have to go live with this because we all need this emotional support. We all need the support. We need to have each other's backs because I can't watch it by myself. So Milk Bar did a fantastic short here, as always. And we're gonna check that out and we're gonna go through um the story box and Turkey Tom, Paramount Tactical. So we have a great show lined up. Thank you all so much. Make sure you engage in the chat. Be respectful. My mods are only gonna say it once. And I encourage people to ask questions and give commentary. Bots are going to be bots. You know, they got that big Christmas bonus and now they don't know what to do. So they still copy and paste the same old thing over and over again. So if it gets to a point where people just get out of control with the disrespect, my mods know to put you in timeout. So just because you got the right to free speech does not mean we have the right to listen. We don't have to read your dumb comments. And the candy ass cult members are going to be whatever they are. They think they're helping and they're not. So I just found that tidbit be hilarious with this clown. So we're gonna get to that. Thank you all so much. Let's get some comments in. Francisca, what's going on? How you doing? How you doing? Y'all hit that like button on your way in. Thank you so much. Mama Sage, hey y'all, how you doing? Happy New Year to all of those that um did not catch my last live stream I did. It was kind of like over New Year's evening and then went into New Year's Day. So yesterday hung out with one of my best friends, I can say, from college. And she came down, and so we had, just a good time, just hanging out and getting a brain break, if you will. So hopefully you guys do the same. Let this new year be the year you bring in, just other content, absorb information, go to content creators that are informative, learn something new every day. Candace, the word of the month in the Lady Luck Club is hypocrisy. I'll leave you to that. Hypocrisy is the word of the month in the Lady Luck Club. We went from evidence to hypocrisy. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Proud Liberal says, what's going on? Love, happy new year. Happy new year to you too as well. Wyoming gal. Shout out to my mods. Thank you all so much for tuning in. To Francisco, Wyoming gal. I have the best mods on YouTube. Saint, I still got to make you a mod on the other channel. I do have a second channel. It's the Lady Luck Club with Sweet Tea. And so I am definitely going to do a live for that second channel this weekend. And hopefully you guys will join me there. So it's going to be just one of those, if you're going to gossip about things, you might as well do it. But I would rather be the second channel because some people just, they don't care for the what's going on on the YouTube street, so to speak. So that's going to be on the second channel for tomorrow. Thank you all so much for your support. What's going on, CC? What's going on, Saint? I got to make you a mod. I haven't forgot about you. Don't stop. What's going on? Everybody up in the bushes. Seven Native said Jesse and Fiery is full of crap. I unfollowed him. I've never heard of him, so it would be my first time, watching any video of him saying something. I have no idea if he seems like one of those ones where he's simping for Candace. Then yeah, I can understand it because after a while that stuff gets old. You get whole grown men, and I'm not talking about the bots. I'm talking about real human beings that are in this code, simping for her, and they just repeat her talking points. You got to imagine if these idiots that were actually married, how their wives would feel about their husbands simping for Candace Owens. Doesn't make you look better or manly. You can't make this up. So yeah, I can imagine. Let's see here. Let's get some more comments in. Just want to make sure everybody speak to everybody. Good to see you all. Good to see you guys. Hopefully we're gonna do some great things in 2026, and hopefully you guys are able to enjoy the content that's going to be coming out of here even the more. And of course, it's a diversity of content here. So check out the other videos and content on the playlist on the channel because I don't expect a bot to scam my page. But they love telling me I'm only doing Candace Owens when I have other content on my channel. What's going on, Tavares? Tavares said because here because of reasons. And we're going to be doing Umar tomorrow because he went on Art of Dialogue and did an interview there. So we're going to check that out tomorrow. Want to give a shout out to Lennon Honor for having me on his platform on New Year's Eve. He did a great show. Marianne Norient was on the platform. He had Information Man show, and he had a couple others, and it was just awesome. It was an honor to be on Lennon Honors live stream. So make sure you guys go check that out. I am going to clip my portion into the LLC, and I'm going to do that tomorrow. It's just been a bit busy for me. So where is her alibi? Exactly. By the way, I love your content. So glad I found your channel. I love your sarcasm too. Thank you. That warms my heart. I appreciate that. And shout out to Paramount Tactical, who gave me a shout out on Twitter X. Man, you can't make this up. So many of you all came and just supported, and I just cannot say thank you enough. I appreciate that. Let's see. That would be a blessing. It would be. I just let's get to 50,000 supporters. Share the content. Make sure you guys. I don't care if you post it on Facebook, Instagram, all the other TikTok, all the other platforms. Feel free to share the content, and we're gonna get some great information out to you guys this year, and it's going to be awesome. So I'm excited. I hope you all are as well. Let's see here. I only tolerate Candace for you, LLC. I know. I tolerate Candace for you all. At the very least, we all have each other's backs. Oh my goodness. People are gonna need to go to, anonymous sessions that just kind of get off the irritation of it all. But she's doing this on purpose. I told you all last time. Bad attention is still attention for her. So either way, we're gonna get to it. You guys ready? What's going on, MB? How you doing? Happy New Year. I know I can't watch it myself either. Candace is still crashing out. If anybody has her Facebook or Instagram, was it Facebook or Instagram? I know both sides covered the most recent live she did. And I don't have Facebook, so I would not be able to just go over there and watch the full video. We have Instagram in the Yellow Sea as well as Twitter X, but I don't have Facebook. And to be honest, I'm never getting it. It's just too much going on. And they don't care about, leaks and information getting out. Like, people just want to give commentary. So I'm never going to get Facebook. He can hang that. Mark Zuckerberg is rich as hell. He don't need my support at all. I'm just one person. Just one person. She's going to keep crashing out, by the way, because she knows that this stuff is coming to an end. Paramount Tactical just had a live that had a couple of folks that are experts on the bots and broke down the bots on Candace Lives. They call them sock puppets. Candace, you got sock puppets. Repeating your BS. Sock puppets. Girl. And then you got this Jessie on fire saying that she is not putting out facts. That's not her goal, I guess. Is she gonna go off on him like she did Evan Kilgore? You can't make this. Oh my God, sock puppets. Yeah, that's something else. Sock puppets. Yep. Yeah. Exactly right. Candace is not new to that. The aspect of her having bots is not a foreign concept because you need bots to push out fake meme coins, which is there are some videos on YouTube where you can actually see others kind of go through the steps of creating fake meme coins and then creating bots to push out this meme coin to get your actual base, your platform to buy these stupid meme coins. So if she being named in a lawsuit participated and aided in that, the idea of her having bots is not foreign. It's something that she knows she has bots. And she's probably had them for a very long time. Because Candace does not put out facts. That's coming from her, from the Candy ass cult member. So they're admitting to what she does and does not do. It's funny. You can't make this up. Let's see. Oh, I got a couple supers. Thank you, Proud Liberal, to you for the $2 super. Missed it. I'm catching up. Happy New Year, love. Thank you so much. Happy New Year to you as well. Shout out to my mod. Shout out to my mods, Wyoming Gal, giving me the $10 super. Thank you so, so much for your generosity. I appreciate it. I'm still waiting for the military to admit their involvement. Candace said that they would offer Mitch interview. Candace, you, Mitch, and all your cult members can remain in your alternate reality. Please do not come back to Earth. Return to sender. You can't make this up. Military is not stunned Candace Owens. She, the narcissism is like on steroids. Plus, PCP, angel dust, and everything else in between. Candace, no one is interviewing that idiot. No one is going to sit here and interview Mitch Snow from the military. They don't care. They don't even care about what the hell you doing. This is crazy. The military interviewing him. Why? He won't even file a lawsuit. I'm sorry. Did anyone come across a lawsuit that he filed against any government agency? Yes, we are live. We're live. Did anyone find any court documents at all, aside from what I've been able to find in my research, that was dismissed for failure to prosecute? Has anyone come across any documents where he's suing any government agency, including the military? Because I haven't come across that. So the fact that, once again, it does not justify the fundraising, the idea of him getting $250,000, and the military is certainly not going to fool with this idiot unless they want to investigate him for all of this, buffoonery and fraudulent nonsense he's putting on. He could have told Candace no, but obviously they had a conversation before they did that show, because Candace, we can do the same thing, girl. Obviously, you thought there was a paper trail of payments from Club Descent. There wasn't. You can't make this up. All right, y'all, let's get to it. Everybody speak to everybody. Thank you so much. Divas, how you doing? Nice play on the name right there. I appreciate that. That's good. Proud Liver says awesome. Way to go, Paramount Tactical. Sports says, if the US is so great, why did they create USB? What does that mean? If the USA is so great, why did they create? Why who? Who is they? Listen, we don't speak code, okay? Can you the pronouns is just ridiculous. Who is they? Why did they create USB? What's USB? You can't make this up. Y'all hit that like button. Thank you so much. He says, still talking about Candace, the coordinated attack. You're getting paid. You sold yourself for cheap dollars. My soul is anchored with Jesus, with the Lord. That's where my soul is anchored. Don't blaspheme in my chat. Candace is not God. She's a mere mortal who presents zero facts, according to her cult member. Yep. I don't even know what money they think I'm getting paid, because I'm waiting on them to actually get Benjamin Netanyahu to send me $7,000. Where is my check? BB Netanyahu. Where's is it going to be a cashier's check? How exactly am I getting this money again? Because I'm curious. I just feel like I should be invoicing Israel right now, because the bot said so. So stupid. If you guys look at my videos and you add up, we get like 10 cents per 1,000 views, right? And then whatever we accrue between the AdSense revenue, the supers, YouTube takes about 30 to 40% off the top. So if you send like a $20 super, YouTube is taking it at least 30% from that. So what ends up being given to me is more like 3%. Yeah, around $18, $17, $18. And it could be as much as 40%. So what exactly am I, like, what dollars am I earning? And my soul, listen, my soul is of none of your concern. As for me and my house, we serve the Lord. That's where my soul is anchored to. Jesus. Candace is not that. I owe her nothing. I don't know when, Candace is going to realize that. No one owes you anything. You're entitled to nothing. But then when people hit her with a lawsuit, then what? You can't make this up. Yeah, so I'm going to keep talking about it because you don't run nothing here. Nothing at all. Not even a little bit. They trip me out. They come in here and they actually watch the video. Please leave a comment that's not copy and paste. Be creative. You can't make this up. Candace Anonymous is on the way. Oh my goodness. Oh, let's see here. All right, y'all. Let's go. Shout out to Milk Bar TV for this video. I think he just posted it up a day ago. So make sure you guys go check it out. Let me drop the video link in the chat. And then if I can get one of the mods to please put the YouTube channel link in the chat so you guys can go and support Milk Bar TV. He does a fantastic job and we are here for it. So let's get to it. The people that are getting paid all the money are the ones that's simping for Candace Owens. They act like they don't know how to read numbers. That's what happens when you have bots, Candace. They don't scan words or numbers. It's just a copy and paste. So they want to, they can look at the views on my videos. 10 cents per 1,000 views. And let's just go for the high end of YouTube taking 40% off of the top. Let me know when my $7,000 is coming. All right, y'all, let's get to it. Put a 1 in the chat when you can see it here. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Hit the like button. All right, let's go.
Hey, all you have to do is say straightforward, I was not there. I was not in Contreras County on this date at this time. This is not complicated. But when this comes up on someone's huge following, you answer it. You just do, okay?
No, you don't. Candace runs nothing. She does not own YouTube. She does not own the internet. You don't have to do anything. That's it. Can you imagine Candace saying this to a judge in a court of law? Well, Your Honor, because I have 5.67 million subs and I'm doing this for views, clicks, likes, and money. I just figured, if you get to the point where you have over 5 million subs, that you just pretty much need to give me an alibi. Because, I think I'm hot shit. For some reason, everyone owes me something. And once you hit 5 million, they're obligated to tell you things. You know what that judge would do? Counselor, can you please advise your client to shut up? One more outburst, and I'm going to hold her in direct criminal contempt of court. Like, that's exactly how that conversation is going to go. And when I tell you all, her attorneys do not want to put her on the stand. They do not want Candace to be cross-examined. She cannot tell the truth to save her life. And they're not going to go with this whole word salad, wordplay, twisting up minor things. They're not going to go for that in court. So what you see in court is going to give you a true synopsis of Candace and her behavior. She knows that she's lying. She will not be able to go to court and act like a fool like she does all over social media. And none of the bots and the cult members are going to be able to force any judge or any party or any juror of believing anything. That's it. If she gets sued, there's nothing that you can do about it but cry and whine and simp. So she's got it coming. Brian Harpool definitely should sue her. Everybody else has been doxxed and harassed and bullied. Sue her ass. She can't have power. Obviously, she thinks money is the, end all be all. Go hit her in the pockets. You can't make this up. The idiot sitting here saying
you have to do is say straightforward, I was not there. I was not in Contreras County on this date at this time. This is not complicated. But when this comes up on someone's huge following, you answer it. You just do, okay? If you have an easy alibi, You just freaking do. I'm so sick of this pretending like, well, I don't have to answer all this crap.
Right.
No,
It is
actually,
stupid.
you do. Okay?
No, you don't.
Sorry.
No, you don't. And every judge in a court of law, Candace, would agree. They don't owe you shit. Yeah, I'm trying my best not to cuss so much. But it's the arrogance of it all. This is not a dictatorship. This is not some sort of authoritarianism. This is not a matter where Candace Owens is the queen of the United States of America. We don't condone a monarchy. We don't condone dictatorship. Take that BS out of our country and go somewhere else. Why won't Candace just go start her own country in another continent? Just go full-blown Jim Jones. The least you can do, Candace, is take your cult members with you and you guys go and spend all your money on creating your own little commune, start your own country, and the United States of America will leave you the hell alone. We wouldn't even care. But when you're here on U.S. soil, you have other citizens that have the right to free speech and expression. They have the right to maintain privacy in their life. There's a reasonable expectation of it. And they don't owe you a response. They have the right to ignore the hell out of you. That's it. The arrogance of this. But yet you talk about her impersonating a federal investigator or a criminal investigator. And they want to sit here and get in an uproar. No, we got laws. Whether she follows them or not, she's going to continue to get punished when she sits here and does the things that she does and then expect people to give her an alibi. They're going to sue the crap out of her. Bottom line. Just take it like a champion, Candace.
Right.
No,
It is
actually,
stupid.
you do. Okay? Sorry, but you do.
They can deserve the scrutiny they get in
sorry, you
return
gotta
for
hit
not
that
giving
lawsuit.
those answers, right? The suspicion that comes with that's part of not giving those answers. So it's a
They don't owe
two-way
you that.
exchange.
I totally agree with you on that.
Okay, so if they don't provide any alibis, then what happens? Does this just stay open-ended and then it keeps being the main focus?
Well, they did. That's the point. And that's why this is now, that's why I named this, why it suddenly really
They
matters,
who?
right? So if they had like kind of stayed out of it and we're like, well, I'm not even going to answer because it's so stupid, then we're like, okay, well.
Exactly. See, I told you all. She knows what she's doing. She knows she can't force an alibi. And now she's trying to make it seem like, oh, they're stupid for doing it. You have people that are actually afraid of Candace cult members and the bots because they go after them, copying and pasting the same dumb comment with the same misspellings, by the way. You would think a bot would do a spell check. No. But it's nothing they owe her. This goes to show, no matter what you say and do, no matter what evidence you present, facts, photos, videos, whatever you want to post up to try to prove her dumb moot point is not good enough. At the very least, you would think you can just say that out loud. Nothing you can give me will be good enough. Okay, so why try? She's contradicting herself. Oh, if you're so dumb, then why do it? That's a good question. Why force them? Even better question. Why force them? You're coercing them to do it through cyber harassment and cyberbullying and doxing, being defamatory. Put out affirmative allegations with no evidence that can be proven false in the court of law. So if you want to be sued, Candace, then tell your little minions that, this is what you asked for. I'm sure they would, agree because they think somehow you're just going to have automatic subpoena power. This is ridiculous. This is proof that you don't owe her an alibi. Don't do it. No one owes her anything.
I totally agree with you on that.
Okay, so if they don't provide any alibis, then what happens? Does this just stay
Nothing.
open-ended and then it keeps being the main focus?
Well, they did. That's the point. And that's why this is now, that's why I named this, why it suddenly
And it
really
wasn't
matters,
good enough.
right? So if they had like kind of stayed out of it and we're like, well, I'm not even going to answer because it's so stupid, then we're like, okay, well, maybe he's just wrong. And that would be what it was. He would just be wrong. He wouldn't be a liar because he was where he said he was, and the people that were there, and Captain Neff was whatever. But
no, he lied about seeing Erica Kirk and Brian Harpool anywhere. Whether it's in the base, the hotel, that Mexican sushi restaurant, wherever he claims he saw them, it would be false, and it can be proven to be false in the court of law. This is why Brian Harpool is talking about suing the crap out of you. I only hope he decides to name these so-called cult members that are her major biggest supporters here as co-defendants, because they can be named as co-defendants. You can't make this up. And she doesn't try to keep her biggest cult members from parroting her nonsense if it's not even factual. And people know they don't owe her anything, but they don't want to deal with the bullying and the harassment and the doxing, and they feel like they're just coerced and compelled to do it because they're trying to avoid all these cyber crimes coming their way. I'm going to keep calling it out to be what it is: illegal. It's unethical, it's immoral. And she's completely soulless. She doesn't care. So just as much as she does not care, and she won't even present evidence, by the way, Candace, we're still waiting on you to show us those 2 degrees. So since she doesn't care, then the people she's sitting here name calling, demanding alibis, shouldn't give a damn about her either. Ignore her. Stop doing this. This is proof she doesn't give a crap.
They did give an alibi, so they do care, right? So if you have to give someone an alibi, it's because you don't want people to think that you're there.
Hit the like button for me.
There is an alibi is not needed if there's nothing to hide. So that's why it matters. I think that's why it matters.
You can't make this up. That's why it matters. It matters because, they gave me an alibi. They could have literally made all of that up and be trolling you, Candace. Because you vet nothing. You don't vet your tips. You vet nothing. So they could be making some stuff up just to mess with your mind. And they're going to say, next time, don't come for me with that nonsense. Keep that to yourself. Yeah, I advocate for people to troll the hell out of her. All right, y'all. This is Storybox. And this is the video where he goes over.
Guys, I couldn't help myself today.
With this Jesse and Fire. Yeah, this guy here. All right, so make sure you guys check out the Storybox. If I can get one of the mods to please drop his YouTube channel link in the chat, I would appreciate that. So you guys go show him some support. He has a nice, huge following. I don't know how long he's been on YouTube, but he definitely has a nice support system in place. And many of you all watch, a myriad of content creators, which is good. It's a good thing. Because I just, I want to make sure I'm not alone when I say Candace is an alien. Can't make this up. All right. Shout out to Storybox. Let's get to it.
Guys, I couldn't help myself today. Candy Owens' minions and generals are currently in major crisis mode, and they're trying their very best to defend Candy Owens, defend the indefensible while she's on holidays, right? That's one of their main excuses why Candy Owens hasn't actually admitted that Cabot Phillips is in the clear. And then also you had Diligent Denzian now saying that the metadata is you can change it. So what's the point of it? So that new narrative is now circulating. We demand that you guys give us the metadata, because if we have the metadata, that proves that you're innocent. But now they're saying that the metadata means absolutely nothing. So it still means you're guilty, guys. You can change it whenever you want. You're guilty by default. Like I said, doesn't matter if you provide an alibi, doesn't matter if you don't provide an alibi, you're guilty either way, especially to these people. I mean, Diligent Denzian is looking like an absolute fool. That's being nice to the dingbat. He's looking like a downright fool, an idiot, the more and more he dives into the small, minute thing. That just shows me you're being paid to do this. Because what person in their right mind, spoiler alert, he's not in his right mind, hence why he's probably being paid goodness knows how much to do the things that he's doing. But he doesn't realize that what he's doing is not only a farce, but it's quite harmful to an innocent person. Oh, it's easy for you to go online and to create a false narrative and a false story and say, well, the metadata is useless now. Metadata can be changed. It's wrong. Then you use the metadata to accuse them of being in the wrong too. Like the confusion, they're just trying to make sure that you guys can't keep up. I mean, hell, I struggle sometimes to keep up. And when let
me tell y'all something right now. I don't really try. I just go on, what's coming up and what she puts out there and clown the hell out of her. That's it. Yeah. Because there's no, as far as normal, sane-minded individuals with a brain that have the ability to read, think for themselves, and actually think logically, would ever think to support Candace right now. No. The only audience she can have are a bunch of cult members, grown men simping for her, and a bunch of dumb bots that still refuse to spell check. They're in the chat now. Y'all, Jesus loves the trolls as well.
I said on a X post, which is going relatively nuts at the moment, that most people that defend Candy Owens have a very, very low IQ. And obviously the ones that have a very, very low IQ did not like that at all. They were not happy that they were told, because they defend Candy Owens, that they have a low IQ. One person even said that I have an IQ over 100 and I defend Candy Owens, and then proceeded to act like they had an IQ of 60 because of something they said that didn't make any sense at all. So, it was to do with how Candy Owens is currently on holiday, and that is her excuse of why she can't bring Cardboard Phillips into the clear. Yeah, but she's been posting on X, and she started this entire mess while she was on holiday. Yeah, You really do have an IQ above 100.
On an alternate universe.
I mean, I know that there are 4 types of intelligence, right? But seriously, the reason why I said IQ is because your brain, like for working out problem-solving stuff, that's IQ. And you can't even work out a simple problem of Candy started this while she was on holiday. She may still be on holiday, but she can still fix it even though she's still on holiday. She got time. She just doesn't want to. She's going to ignore it. So she's more than happy to accuse an innocent person while on holiday, I might add, of being or insinuating that he is connected to the Fort Ashoka, which is also connected to the Charlie Kirk assassination, the whole thing. Yeah, it's a big thing. She doesn't have to actually say it. She can insinuate it. But obviously people are just like, oh, she's got to actually say it. But even if she does say it, we've proved it many, many times over that if she does say it, you still don't get it. You still just like, oh, no, she didn't say that. What? No. That's what I mean. It doesn't matter if we prove it. The more stuff that we prove, you idiots, the defender, you're lost. You're really lost. Come.
Candace, what's your evidence of those 2 degrees again? Because, you want to be the smartest person in the room. You're just not smart enough to be the smartest person in the room. You don't have the intellect or literacy level to be able to proclaim to be the smartest person in the room. You can't make this up. He is going in on Candace. This is something else.
To the light. It's much more freeing. Seriously, that's why I always say
man.
you guys are in a cult. Then I see this dingbat, Jesse
I've
on
been sitting there
Fire,
for 2 months.
who released a video about 14 minutes long, Project Constitution, that dingbat too, who said that it was okay to make a mistake in an investigation. Here's the thing, though, you dingbat. You're not investigating nothing.
Thank you.
Your investigation is fake. You're not
you.
a criminal investigator. You're an internet.
Oh man, do you all know how hard it is to have to? And I don't go out trying to prove anything to the cult members or the bots because I don't care about bots. I don't go out my way to try to prove anything to the cult members. Like I said, they've already shown that nothing you say or do is going to satisfy them. And we're not here for their satisfaction. Do not reduce your purpose in life to trying to prove something to Candace Owens. All these grown men simping for her is disgusting. And yet, Candace will not speak on an allegation from a grown man about George Farmer, her husband, that she has 4 kids with, inappropriately touching and putting his hands on another grown man. They won't speak to that at all. But yet, they want to demand alibis. No. Don't feed the trolls. You can't make this up. Storybox is awesome. She's not an investigator. I even pulled up the law and I posted it. I've done a video on it. I've done a live stream about it. She's not a criminal investigator. She's not a federal investigator. She's not anything. And she doesn't have the license or the certification, credentials, or even the education, the knowledge, the experience of actually doing true investigations. She won't even prove that she can Google. You can't even research the definition of endowment. You're not an investigator. You won't even look up basic facts about something. We got a whole internet at our fingertips. Dictionary.com, Britannica, Encyclopedia.com. I mean, you can pick a plethora of websites that give basic information. And she won't do that. So how do we go from her not even Googling the word evidence or endowment or looking up when a 501c3 is supposed to turn over tax documents? Never mind 2 extensions they could get. This is stuff that she could just come across doing basic research. So she's not investigating a damn thing. That's like having a doctor operate on you. And then they tell you, I've never done this before, but I know what I'm doing. Because we don't know, but we know. And Candace don't know no good. You can't make this up. So if the cult members are willing to go to some doctor who got on her show and said, I'm a surgeon, I can operate on people, because doctor people matter too. Like that fool said, military people. Yeah, doctor people matter as well. And if you need your fingernails, or your toes decapitated, I take it off real quick. Don't ask me about my degree though. Don't ask me if I've done this before. Just trust that I can amputate your big toe on your left foot. Never mind the credentials. Never mind the education. Never mind the skills, the experience, logic, wisdom, reading comprehension, simple mathematics. Never mind any of that. Let me operate on your big toe on your left foot. That's the same thing. The average reasonable person would be able to say the same thing. And the fact that she's giving this false, assertion of power or authority, and she's not licensed or credentialed to do so, that's what makes it an impersonation matter. If the average reasonable person is listening to someone or they physically see someone and they're conducting themselves like they're an investigator and they're going out of their way to say that they're an actual criminal investigator or a federal investigator trying to take the place of the CIA. Just the inference alone is sufficient enough for someone to charge her with impersonation and be sued for it. This whole humiliation ritual with her. Prove to me that you've got 2 feet. It's what do you mean? And then you send a photo of your feet to prove you got 2 feet. Then she's going to look at it and say, yeah, this is fake. There's no way this foot belongs to a human being. And it could be right there in front of her face. So to give her this stuff, and she still was like, oh, it's fake. It's Photoshop. It's this. Why your beard is 3 inches longer or shorter. Stupid stuff. So if anyone sues Candace because they were doxxed or they felt coerced to give up information they were not required to do, and it has caused harm and damage, they can sue the hell out of her under that federal statute. Under that federal code, they can sue her. Make sure you name her home team as co-defendants and these so-called heavy hitters on social media simping for her and pushing her dumb crap. Hell, get all the bots. Why stop there? You can't make this up. She's not an investigator. Yes, you need some education to do criminal investigations. You need to at least have a 2-year degree in criminal justice. If you're going to be a detective somewhere, that educational component is required. You can't claim to be law enforcement unless you are commissioned and you have a badge and it can be verified. You can't just walk around saying that. That is how you end up getting charged with impersonation. So she wants to continue on with that. She shouldn't get mad when she gets sued. That's a federal lawsuit, by the way.
That you're probably some fat
Crazy
bastard in his basement. That's what I imagine. These people, no brains, haven't been outside, haven't seen any sun in goodness knows how long. That's how I imagine these people.
Oh yeah,
that may be a little bit mean, but these people, no brains, or maybe they're being paid to do this. I mean, hell, I watched a video today of one woman that's quite famous over on X. She admitted to making these posts about the Palestinian conflict because she gets paid to do it. Lots of money. And she loves seeing like over 400,000 comments and the reshares and the fighting going on. That's psychotic. So is these people. They're doing it because it gets them clicks, just like Candace. It's psychotic behavior, not because it's right, not because it's the truth, but because it creates drama. And here's what Jesse on Fire had to say about Kenny Owens' role and the shocking truth about Candace Owens' Charlie Kirk investigation. I'll say one thing. They do know how to do titles. Have a watch.
People who are attacking Candace fundamentally do not understand what her role in this entire thing is. She is the magnetic center of an open source.
First thing he said wrong was attack. It's the weaponization of these terms that are baffling to me. Oh, you're hating. You're attacking. Why are you using this terminology? People have the right to disagree and give criticism. Once again, you don't like our U.S. laws and the protections that we're all afforded to include free speech and free expression, freedom of the press, to be able to disseminate facts and information to the public that they have the right to know, that they're interested in knowing. People want her to be debunked. I want her to be debunked. She can't even post up that FBI text message that she allegedly sent because of assassination attempt, blah, 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 France French legionnaires, blah, blah, blah. She won't even file a formal complaint to the FBI. They don't demand that she gives any evidence whatsoever. And this idiot sitting here talking about, oh, people who are attacking her. No, we're giving our criticism. We're going to debunk her. We're going to put out the facts. We're going to put out the information. And you can kiss our ass as we do that.
Investigation. She is not supposed to only put pure factual information on her show. She puts clues on her show. She has a tip line getting.
Okay. So her clues are not factual. Her clues are not supported by evidence. If that be the case, cool. We will not take her seriously. He's literally proving our point. She doesn't put facts up on her show. And they think that rebuttal is an attack. No, the hell it ain't. I don't care what bots think or anything like that. But if you're a real human being and you live in the United States, the last thing you should want to do is infringe upon someone else's rights. And the First Amendment are the rights that we're all afforded. So we're going to criticize her. We're going to debunk her. Absolutely. All the way.
Understand what her role in this entire thing is. She is the magnetic center of an open source investigation. She is not supposed to only put pure factual information on her show. She puts clues on her show. She has a tip line getting thousands of tips every single day. She does her best.
That she doesn't vet. And she has a team allegedly. As opposed to her going through these tip lines and saying, because she's being trolled too. But as opposed to her trying to find some evidence to support this stuff, she just puts it out there. And then when she's proven wrong and she gets debunked, then she wants to get mad. We don't give a damn about her temper tantrum. Candace, you heifer. We don't care about your temper tantrum. We don't care how you feel. You do not get to infringe upon the rights of others. If you don't like our laws in the U.S., take your ass up out of here. Can't make this up.
To vet the ones that come in, and then she puts those on her show, and then the community chases them down. It doesn't matter if you don't believe this one or you do believe this one. It's your responsibility to chase down the ones that you do believe, and you look in.
No, it's our responsibility to debunk and call her out when there's no evidence to support any of that crap that she says. Period. She's just destroying the aspect of journalism, Charlie Kirk, his legacy, his family, all of that. Single-handedly destroying all this stuff. And this idiot is talking about is our responsibility to do something? No. It's my responsibility to keep working, take care of my kids, pay bills. It's not a responsibility to prove Candace right. Especially in the absence of evidence. Remember that, Candace? In the absence of evidence, you're going to make assumptions. So are we. Laws don't tip in your favor over someone else. It's not how that works. These idiots don't even want to read the law.
And then you share them with other people, and then they share them with Candace, and then we develop the case that way. We're solving this together. Stop attacking her. The only way that we allow this whole thing to fall apart is if people start fighting with each other over individual clues. We are an open source detective agency. We've never had the opportunity to do this before. Okay. From this point forward, if people.
Why? You have a platform. So you mean to tell me you could not go out and fact check somebody and get evidence and documentation if you believe some tip or clues, because Blue's Clues. Candace has got Blue's Clues going out on her channel. And in order for anyone to have a valid point about something, it has to be in her favor. We have to prove her right. Who the hell said that?
Who are attacking Candace because she put something on her channel, they are blowing it. And people who are on Candace's side, you're attacking people who did an investigation into a clue that she put on the platform. You're also blowing it. That is not what this is about.
What do you mean blowing it? Get the hell over it. If you believe what you're putting out to be truthful and factual, then why are you worried about someone debunking it? Because we can ask these dumbass questions as well. Who is this Jesse on fire? He's a clown. You're a grown man simping for Candace. What a simp. Then they walk around here, women don't respect men anymore. No one is going to respect a grown-ass man that may or may not even be married with kids. And you simp so hard for Candace Owens, who's not your wife. Make that make sense? And now someone debunking her is blowing it. Why worry about us debunking something if you believe that you're putting out factual, truthful information? Why would you not make sure that whatever you put out, unless you're stating it as your opinion, but if you're calling it a fact, you need evidence. Why is that so hard? It's as if he doesn't understand the definition of evidence either. So once again, Candace narcissism says that she has to be the smartest person in the room. This is an example of what it's like for her minions, her cult members, to be dumber than she is. You know, because she has to be the smartest person in their cult.
Supposed to be. She's doing exactly what she's supposed to do. Okay. If you took money to attack Candace, I guess that is that ship is sailed. Attack her all you want. You know, don't expect people to
attack her all you want. Okay. We don't need your permission.
Put a lot of faith in the credibility of things that you say going forward. Okay. Here, let me start by saying this. Alex Jones is going full throttle on Candace right now. He's like, he's going hard in the paint. He started off, you know, like he's like, Candace is my friend. I wanted to like reach out to her because she's going crazy. She's doing whatever. And bottom line is, even with that, he doesn't understand what Candace's show is and what it's not. Okay.
It's a clown show. Candace Owens is a clown show. She's a walking, talking, breathing hypocrisy on steroids. Or meth, PCP, Angel does. Correct. Correct is wick. You can't make this up. He said you can go out and attack all you want. Okay. Thank you. Here.
We are an open source detective agency. We've never had the opportunity to do this before. Okay. From this point forward, if people are attacking Candace because she puts something on her channel, they are blowing it. And people who are on Candace's side, and you're attacking people who did an investigation into a clue that she put on the platform, you're also blowing it. That is not what this is supposed to be. She's doing exactly what she's supposed to do. Okay. If you took money to attack Candace, I guess that is that ship is sailed. Attack her all you want. You know, don't expect people to put a lot of faith in.
I'm still waiting on that $7,000 check. Until then, it's mighty funny. I do what I do for free. Or 10 cents per 1,000 views, whatever YouTube pays. You can't make this up. I wouldn't even be working a regular job if I got paid $7,000 a month. You don't even have to get paid to attack Candace. No one's attacking her. You can debunk her for free because free speech, freedom of the press. We can do this for free.
The credibility of things that you say going forward. Okay. Here, let me start
because reading
by
is
saying
not
this.
fundamental.
Alex Jones is going full throttle on Candace right now. He's like, he's going hard in the paint. He started off, you know, like he's like, Candace is my friend. I wanted to like reach out to her because she's going crazy. She's doing whatever. And bottom line is, even with that, he doesn't understand what Candace's show is and what it's not. Okay. Like I said yesterday in my
he knows exactly what her show is. It's a gossip column. Candace is nothing more than a dumb blogger who still refuses to read. Once again, why didn't she just come out and tell her people, her cult, that she filed the motion to dismiss in the Macron lawsuit? Y'all see how she never fully just said that. I wanted my attorneys to file a motion to dismiss. Then it's not legally mandated. It's not legally required. I want to see if I can get this dismissed first. She can't even admit that. And yet she wants people to sue her. She wants a subpoena power. Wouldn't filing a motion to dismiss the case be combative to that? How does that get you closer to the discovery phase if you want to file a motion to dismiss? It's so hypocritical, it's not even funny. But her cult members see nothing wrong with that. She lies to them And they're like, yeah, we still believe it anyway. Stupidity on steroids. And they want to bring everybody else into this dumbass cult.
In my video that I did about the TPUSA financials that Wolves and Finance did, I called this the first ever open source investigation. Okay. And I meant exactly that. Okay. What this is, we never have had the opportunity to get the collective internet, all of the mommy sleuths, all of the, all the men who are in.
Well, I mean, the stupidity of it all. Freedom of speech is one thing, but laughing at other people's ugliness. No, that's not how that works. Laughing, clapping. Sometimes I run around. I get to do what I want. What you do have the right to do is not watch. I'm not forcing anybody to watch me. But this is the stupidity of it all. Who told you that the First Amendment does not cover criticism, even comedy or comedic commentary? Who told you that? What demon in hell told you that the First Amendment does not cover laughing at somebody? What law is that? I want to see the law where it says that you shall not laugh at someone that is making an utter fool of themselves. Can somebody find that law for me? Apparently, I've missed that part of the First Amendment. Because reasons. Where it says, I have freedom of speech and expression. Laughter being a form of expression. And there's case law, Supreme Court rulings, cases that are precedent that supports that. But for some reason, once again, stupidity on steroids. The bots are not even scanning information online. It's just copying and pasting dumb stuff. What law says I can't laugh at Candace Owens? I want to see the law. Where's the law? That don't work on me. Send me the law where it says I cannot laugh at Candace Owens. Candace, I'm going to laugh the hell out of you until kingdom come. I'm going to keep laughing at you from now until whenever I feel like being done. Until then, laugh away, people. Laugh
interested
away.
In the gun stuff, interested in the 30-06 stuff, interested in the lies that this person told, this person told. People looking into this string. They pull on this string. They pull on this thing. They pull on this string. They pull on this string. Okay. And all of us collectively, we figure out what's real and what's not. Okay. So when Candace says something on her show or puts someone on her show.
This guy, Jesse
you
on
can't
Fire,
make this up.
saying it like we all need to hear this. Candace's role is to share all of the tips to the community that the mummy sleuths of the internet have discovered, even though they're probably not right at all. It doesn't matter if any of them are the truth. Her job or her responsibility is to put out all these lies and insinuations and accusations so that the community can make up their own mind and their own judgment. And that's how an investigation is done, guys. That's how a criminal investigation is done. It doesn't matter if it hurts anyone at all. Absolutely not. Doesn't matter if it does damage to a person's reputation and integrity while they're at it. That's actually an innocent person. No. Her job, guys, in this entire investigation madness is to bring the community involved in trying to find out who killed Charlie Kirk. It's the first time this has ever happened in the way that it's actually happened, guys. Why don't you let the cops do their job? Oh, we don't trust the cops. We need community justice, man. We need the mummy sleuths of the internet that can do a much better job than the cops can. Right. No, you can't. You can't. You guys are not trained at all. Maybe these people have read a couple of books or watched a couple of movies, and that gives them license somehow to go, "Hey, vigilante justice, man. I'm going to go out there and accuse an innocent person. I'm going to look at a magazine, and that magazine date or a person's beard. I'm not imagining things, man, but it must mean that they're involved."
Yeah.
Or,
reasons.
I won't get everything right in this investigation, guys, but by hell, I've got 4 people on my team, and we're going to do a very good job at best.
While she still fails to read, Candace. This is what you know, the Egyptian planes, all this stuff is what happens when you let, you know, the dogs get into the chicken coop. You can't make this up. Wyoming Gal says, I'm not sure this open source investigation is working out well. I think it's great to do the research. I like that. But Candace uses only what holds with her opinion. Exactly. She's only going to put out that supports her dumb moop talking points. None of that shit would ever hold up in court. That's the thing. None of this stuff that she's talking about, these so-called photos, whatever proof evidence that these other fake wannabe investigators think they're doing, none of that would hold up in the court of law. And she is going to continue to F around and find out. So, Candace, what good does it do for you to get all of this money only to have to pay out a judgment where you end up in the negative? And we all know you're not good with money. Brexit is a prime example. You let that sink to 1.7 million in the hole. And TPUSA came and they took over and bailed you out, basically. They acquired it. And for what? And this is what it comes down to. You relentlessly lying on TPUSA as a whole or people there individually. And Charlie Kirk did not have to acquire Brexit. He could have just let that float out to the wayside like Kanye did with Parler Inc. He didn't pick up and buy Parler Inc. And to an extent, as dumb as Kanye here West can sound sometimes, he dodged a bullet. Good thing he did not take on Parler Inc. He dodged a bullet. Anyone can see through the nonsense that Candace is doing. Eric, what's going on? She's just running a scam, acting like she's a journalist. Exactly. Impersonating investigators. That's a crime. It's a felony. It's so ridiculous. Dana said, S-File said, shout out to my moms. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Hit the like button for me. Dana, yeah, anyone still seriously following her has some issues. She's done so much harm. Exactly. Yep, we're going to continue to laugh at her. You know, because the bots hate that. So we're going to do exactly what they hate. They think they get to control things. No, you have no power here. We're going to keep laughing at it. Hell yeah. Candace Owens will never even know who you are. She doesn't have to. You know what's so funny? She's the same person that stole my quip. You know, Candace, you're bad at this. So before you think she's not watching me, I'm going to dare you on that. Is it funny? Either way, I don't care. It doesn't stop me from doing this. I'm going to do it. You can make this up. You can tell Candace didn't understand the Egyptian plane stuff. She did a horrible job trying to explain it. Funny thing is, she knows she's not a pilot. She doesn't deal with anything in aviation. Candace has not even shown proof that she majored in journalism in English. Because Candace, we all know aviation would be difficult for you. Reading an instrument or data from an FDR will go over your head. You can barely do math. Yeah, this is so crazy. It's crazy. Not today. I know that's right, Francisca. I know that's right. It gets out of hand, boot their ass. we have the right to not read your dumb comments to the bots and the cults. Can't make this up.
And all of us sicko fans are trying to defend and cover it up and say, well, it's not her job to provide the truth at all. Absolutely not. Man, I'm a one-man band. I do this myself. No one else does it for me. I do the research myself. I find out what the truth is. I do it all myself. Right? Candace has 4 people. And then they're saying they want to make up all these bullcrap excuses like there's far too many tips. Hey, if that's the case, give up. Throw in the towel. No one wants you to do this. No one asked you to do it. You took it on for yourself. And now you're reeling. Now you're getting to that stage at the moment where you hit the sun. And now you're crashing and burning on the way down.
Yep.
That's what's happening. And now you're trying to put it all behind you by saying, show's going to come next week, guys. I'm returning next week. I can't wait to break a new Fandangle story for you all. Gee whiz, Candy, I cannot wait. Because I will be right here. It's going to be very entertaining, I'm sure. We are an open source detective agency, and detective.
What the hell is an open source detective agency? They really tell on themselves. That is the epitome of impersonating an investigator. You're impersonating now an agency that focuses on investigations, claiming to be some sort of investigative agency. What the hell is that? You can't make this up. An open source detective agency. They're not detectives either. Whether you call it detectives, investigators, law enforcement, you need to have education in this stuff. There's no such thing as an open source detective agency. Whoever that Jesse on Fire is a joke. He's a whole clown.
Detective Inspector Go Gadget Bloody Owens and Inspector Detective Clouseau Candy Bloody Owens is on the case, ladies and gentlemen. She is the head. We've never had a community investigation or a community criminal investigation like this before. You know why that is? Probably because you're not professionals. Probably because you don't know crap at all.
Yep.
You don't freaking know anything.
They're grifting.
But yet, they want to take it upon themselves, guys, to find out what's going on. And if you say anything negative about Candy, why are you attacking her? Don't attack Candy. How dare...
Yeah, we're going to say and do what we want to do with Candace. The thing is, too, that I just find to be mind-boggling is this whole, what he said here. This idiot said, we've never done an investigation like this before. First of all, you're not investigating anything. You're just parroting your cult leader's talking points. That's not investigating. Secondly, of all the topics that can be discussed, of all the things that Candace could cover, or this clown Jesse on Fire that's simping for her could cover, why are you saying you've never done any level of investigation or research for facts and evidence and documentation on a topic? Is he new to YouTube? Is this Jesse on Fire new to YouTube? To me, he comes off like he's got a good size following. Because if he's kissing Candace's ass, he definitely has thousands of views coming in. The bots will make sure of that. But they've never done an investigation. So Candace has never done any investigation or research on anything. Apparently, the death of Charlie Kirk is their so-called first time. So what the hell have they been doing on their channels this whole time? What has Jesse on Fire covered? It sounds like he's admitting he doesn't cover any content. Dana says, thank you for your condolences everywhere. And Yuck 2.0, I can't believe what's happening to New York is mind-boggling. I'm sorry, Dana. What's going on? I hope you're okay. What's going on, writer Albert Lanier? What is happening? Open source detective agency equals Wikipedia with an attitude. Wikipedia with an attitude. You can't make this up. That's a good one. That's all she does is blog. When you start with the conclusion, you end up with the chaotic investigation. Exactly. Candace is, infamous for not presenting evidence and information while she talks about it. You already see she's not prepared because she doesn't take this seriously. She doesn't care about the investigation with the state of Utah and Tyler Robinson, who actually murdered Charlie Kirk, but she doesn't take that seriously. She's already said she doesn't care. And this guy's Jesse on Fire is saying that he's never done an investigation before. So what has he been talking about on his show? It's so crazy. He's never done an investigation. What's going on, Loyal? I forgot. I heard Jesse somewhere. Yeah, how long has he been online? I'm okay. I was talking about my cousins on 9/11. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can say one thing that many of us have lost someone we knew. And my heart goes out to those babies. You had people there that were just innocent. But my condolences to you, honey. Let's see here. Jesse started off as an UFC React guy, then got big outside of UFC. The days after Trump's life was almost taken, he has been a rage clickbaiter ever since. Oh, okay. So he still does not investigate or look up information. Got it. No wonder he's saying that. It's like he's selling on himself. What's going on, Mirror? How you doing? Shout out to all of you all. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button. Let's get through.
Ladies and gentlemen, she is the head. We've never had a community investigation or community criminal investigation like this before. You know why that is? Probably because you're not professionals. Probably because you don't know crap at all. You don't freaking know anything. But yeah,
nothing, apparently
they want to take it all upon themselves, guys, to find out what's going on. And if you say anything negative about Candy, why are you attacking her? Don't attack Candy.
Oh,
How
no.
dare you attack Candy? Because her responsibility is just to share all the tips, man, that the community has sourced. If her community is so powerful, why couldn't any of them find any evidence that France and Israel had teamed up to the tune of $1.5 million, finding that bank statement, finding the two assassins that allegedly tried to kill her?
The payments.
Why couldn't they find any evidence of that? Why couldn't the White House find any evidence either? And they're like the number one source of information. They know everything.
Crazy.
Because it didn't happen. That's why.
Good job.
Simple.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, if the community investigation into who killed Charlie Kirk is so great, why has it taken almost 4 stinking months for them to come up with nothing? Who's your prime suspect?
Yeah.
Oh, Erica Kirk. Charlie's widow.
I sure do, Dana. That's exactly what I was saying. She put that tweet up, that post up rather, talking about, oh, obviously there's a paper trail. I've been told by some high-ranking French government employee, payments are being, or transactions are going from Emmanuel Macron to Club de Sant. All in an effort to somehow think about Candace for 2 seconds and then talk about wanting to take her life for some reason. And yet, she never filed a formal complaint to the feds. You know, the same feds she doesn't trust. That is not spearheading the investigation in the state of Utah. That's how ridiculous it is. I mean, it's simple. They don't even demand that she gives evidence. If they were to do that, they would see that she would not have any to present and go from there. But they just let her say and do what she wants. It's crazy.
Which you have no evidence.
None.
At all to prove that she did in fact kill her husband. That's your prime suspect. Who else is your prime suspect? Oh, Turning Point, the entire organization. Get this through.
TPUSA needs to sell Blexit. And just like this comment here, Dana, you're absolutely spot on. Don't forget, people, Candace said, you know, they can just put me on the payroll. I'll be their PR. Why would you want to even put that out there and get on their payroll to do PR for them if you can't stand their guts? If you don't like the people in charge, if you are deep down jealous and envious of Erica Kirk, Candace is a real heifer. You can't make this up. Why would you want to be on that payroll? I'm not going to go work for some company. I'm sitting out here bashing and attacking, lying about financial issues, failing to put in tax, file tax documents when that's not true. You put out all these lies about the heavy hitters in TPUSA and then TPUSA as a whole. Wolves in Finance can't define endowment. They have no idea what a 501c4 does. And yet she wants to be on their payroll to do their PR. And none of the dumb cult members even question that. Because they deep down, they see TPUSA and Erica Kirk as the enemy. They didn't even give her pushback on that. Why would you even make that statement out loud if you can't stand the company? No, they're not going to put you on payroll, Candace. I hope y'all remember these things she says, because words matter here. Shout out to y'all.
All of you dingbats out there that are following this investigation and you are believing what Candace is saying, get this through your thick, stinking skulls. She's got nothing. She never had anything to begin with. And this whole entire notion of, we're going to make an investigation on tips alone that mummy slews of the internet are sending through to Candace, and she's like the glue that holds this all together. No, that's not how this works. This is never how things like this have worked. Let the police do their damn job and you shut the hell up. Simple, because you could get a mistrial and the real killer could end up walking free. And guess what's going to happen then? You don't get justice for Charlie, which is what you've been trying to do this entire time. It's taken you 4 months to get absolutely nowhere. And everyone's going, but she's just asking questions, Jay.
No, she's
just asking questions. She's not demanding alibis, but she wants them when she demands them, and everyone has to give it to her, but then she won't come out and correct the record.
Well, they are giving me alibis.
I watched Knives Out, the first one yesterday, and then I watched the third one, the latest one, the other night. And I noticed something very interesting. There is usually suspects, a couple of them.
Yep.
You have a prime suspect, which you can try and piece together whether or not that person was in fact involved in the crime or not.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have an actual alibi? It makes a big difference. But in Candace's world now, it's if you don't have an alibi, you're innocent. If you do have an alibi, you're guilty. But then it's just weird all around how people have got alibis in general. Have a watch of this. Like this will make your head spin, right?
All you have to do is say straightforward, I was not there. I was not in Contest County on this date at this time. This is not complicated. But when this comes up on someone's huge following, you answer it. You just do, okay? If you have an easy alibi, you just freaking do. I'm so sick of this pretending like, well, I don't have to answer all this crap.
Right.
No, actually.
No, you don't. Once again, this is what the cult members are, brainwashed to believe. That's why I don't understand. Candace, anyone calling you the black female version of Jim Jones, you should own that, girl. You should own it. Wear that title proudly. Cult leader. Don't shy away from it. That's exactly what you are. You might as well own up to it. Candace Owens is a cult leader. She has brainwashed these idiots, and they're dumb enough to keep believing that someone else owes them an alibi. It could be a form of invasion of privacy and coercion. But because they don't read anything, then they get blindsided and they're mad when you say, I'm suing you and I'm going to sleep peacefully. So her and her dumbass mommy slews that are impersonating investigators and all these people in this call here, they're going to find out either the easy way or the hard way. Perhaps you should not lie on someone. That is not a good thing to do. And you can be held liable for damages. It doesn't even benefit anybody for them to be walking around here talking about we're investigators. We're criminal investigators. We have the benefit of that. What are you talking about? No, you don't. And this idiot is sitting here saying, well, they can just give her an alibi. No, they don't owe her.
You do. Okay. Sorry,
She's
but
agreeing
you
with
do.
this nonsense.
They can deserve the scrutiny they get in return for not giving those answers, right? The suspicion that comes with that.
They can get the scrutiny. So you're plotting and planning to go and attack and retaliate if they don't give you an alibi. Y'all see this here? They can deserve the scrutiny they get in return for not giving an alibi.
Those answers, right?
Because that's retaliation. They don't owe you shit. So he's saying this, and she's agreeing to this. She didn't stop him. She did not correct him. She's not saying to her cult, please don't go out and attack people. Don't bash them for having a difference of opinion. Everybody's not going to always agree with me. But I'm not going to sit here and send people out to attack that person. That's why we let the dumb cult members and the bots in the chat. Because if I really didn't want to hear or read or even engage with them, I wouldn't. It's a privilege to be on this platform to the cult members and the bots. And I take this seriously. You have people that are actually being harmed. They're being doxxed and bullied and harassed. And you got this idiot sitting here saying, basically, they deserve whatever comes their way if they don't tell us what we want to know.
But you do.
They can deserve the scrutiny they get in return for not giving those answers, right?
And you can deserve to get a lawsuit for thinking that you can coerce someone to giving you an alibi when you're not law enforcement. You're not a commissioned police officer. You're not an investigator of any sort. So don't get mad if you get named in a lawsuit here. You're literally saying that you're going to go out and harass people and retaliate if they don't tell you what you want to know. It's so dumb. She's not correcting this guy. I'm going to play it again because, reasons.
Alibi. You just freaking do. I'm so sick of this pretending like, well, I don't have to answer all this crap.
Right.
No,
It is
actually,
stupid.
you do. Okay.
It's crazy.
Sorry, but you do.
They can deserve the scrutiny they get in return for not giving those answers, right? The suspicion that comes with that.
Yeah,
That's
retaliation.
part of not giving those answers. So it's a two-way exchange.
I totally agree with you on that.
Okay, so if
It's
they
not.
don't provide any alibis, then what happens? Does this just stay open-ended and then it keeps being the main focus?
Well, they did. That's the point. And that's why this is now, that's why I named this, why it suddenly really matters, right? So if they had kind of stayed out of it and we're like, well, I'm not even going to answer because it's so stupid, then we're like, okay, well, maybe he's just wrong. And that would be what it was. He would just be wrong. He wouldn't be a liar because he was where he said.
So she comes off like she's actually retaliating against anyone that did any research on this idiot on her show, Mitch Snow. So because you looked him up, we all looked him up, saw that he's a compulsive pathological liar. He's a narcissist. He is everything that Candace is as well. So because of that, now you deserve to be retaliated against by being bullied and harassed and doxxed. You can't make this shit up.
He was, and the people that were there, and Captain Neff was whatever. But they did give an alibi, so they do care, right? So if you have to give someone an alibi, it's because you don't want people to think that you're there. An alibi is not needed if there's nothing to hide. So that's why it matters. I think that's why it matters.
You, according to that dingbat,
It's so crazy.
speaking first, it sounds like it's like the voice nails on a chalkboard going down for me, or like the balloon when you have a wet hand. Oh, then it chills down my spine. That person saying, if a individual with a major platform accuses you of being somewhere where you weren't, or being involved in a murder,
Crazy stuff.
you have to provide an alibi. But if you don't provide an alibi, she doesn't care. You just have to. You must. I don't care if you don't have an alibi. You've got to provide one anyway. If someone is accusing you with a massive following, then you damn well do it. You freaking do it, man. Have you ever heard anything so ridiculous and so, I don't even know what to call it anymore. You don't have the police rocking up and going, do you have an alibi? And you go, no, that's okay. It's okay not to have an alibi. If you are being accused of being where the crime was allegedly placed, and you were being accused of being there, or someone saw you there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the police go, oh, it's okay, you don't have an alibi at all that we can confirm. It's fine.
Shout out to writer Albert Lanier. He's also a great content creator. Can I get one of the mods to please drop writer Albert Lanier's YouTube channel link in the chat, and as well as my mods that are also content creators here, S-Files, Foxy, anyone else that has, a channel with content, you want to drop the link in the chat, feel free. Let us know so we can make sure you get some support. But he wrote here, I remember in the 1990s, when as a newbie journalist, I actually had to look up actual records and track down people to talk to. Exactly. And not even coerce them. Just to try to reach out to see if you can talk to them, whether it be on the record or off the record. But see, Candace is so manipulative. She puts people out there on the platform because they won't have an interview with her. That's how disgusting she is. She will literally dox someone because they didn't want to give her an interview. That's the sign of someone that's not a journalist. She's certainly not an investigator. And she's not even good at basic research. You don't bully people into giving you interviews. Once again, nothing that anyone owes her. But this whole high and mighty thing, she coming in on a midget horse. Because midget horses. Riding in on this midget horse, thinking that she's, queen of the universe. No, ma'am. Nope. We're here to make sure that you understand you run nothing. You can run your mouth on your platform, in your house, with Boys Club and your kids. When you're not taking care of anyone else, paying their bills, no one owes you anything. And even with that, I still wouldn't do this to sit here and kiss her ass. Hell no. It's the good old-fashioned journalism that she can't even show that she's got a degree in journalism. This is coming from Candace, who dropped out of college, who failed to actually obtain one degree and show proof of it. Of course, I questioned that email I got. You can't make this up. We need the body expert to review that video of her. Exactly. Who is the body language guy? Is he all right? That girl is hilarious. They just do. Writer Albert Lanier says these damn idiots think because they have Google and Yahoo that these are investigators and journalists. Is laughable and farcical. Exactly. 100% agree.
You're innocent. Free to go and not do a proper investigation. But on Candace's on Candace's thing, it's like same deal. If I demand an alibi, you have to give me the alibi. If I don't demand an alibi, but you give it to me anyway, that's suspicious, that's weird. But I have just accused you to my entire massive audience of being somewhere you probably weren't, but I thought you were there and you're guilty anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So you're suspicious either way, the Candy Cult. It don't matter.
Nope.
It really don't matter what you do. Because at the end of the day, these people will still connect you to where they want you to be connected to.
Yep. Crazy.
Even now, Cabot Phillips provided his alibi, provided the metadata, provided all that sort of stuff, and still people are accusing him of being there. It doesn't matter. Because they're all sick, twisted. They're all getting this. So the deeper that they clasp at straws, the more they can try and keep this going, the more of this they get.
Mm-hmm.
It's so wrong.
It's all for content.
They're playing with fire. And people are getting burnt. Innocent people are getting burnt by these sick, twisted witches.
Yep. I'm so glad he said
anyway,
that.
That's enough from me. You guys take care. Be blessed. And I'll see you all in the next video.
Well said. Well said.
I think
so. This is one of the clips that Paramount Tactical, Gary from Paramount Tactical did. with I want to say this is an interview or collab of some sort with Alex Jones. Okay, so we're gonna check this out, and then we're gonna get to Turkey Time because Tyler Perry is Tyler Robinson, not Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is being sued, by the way. Again, Tyler Robinson is the shooter. Whether Candace believes it or not, or her coach believes it or not, we don't care if they don't believe it. But don't get mad when we don't believe Candace. What a heifer she is. You can't make this up. This is, the infringement of free speech is what really bothers me, because they get mad and they attack people for, disagreeing with her. She's not Queen of the United States of America. We owe her nothing. This is not a dictatorship. And impersonating an investigator, man, they need to investigate her ass on that one. All right, y'all, let's check this out. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate all of you guys. Make sure you check out Paramount Tactical and show him some love. Hit the like button. Let him know we're definitely excited. He gave me a huge shout out on Twitter X, so we're excited about the full interview dropping, because I really want to know what they have to say about Boys Club. George, Alex Jones is going to tear your ass up. Let me not say that. George might like it. All right, put a one in the chat when you can see in here.
Candace is being exploited. I don't think Candace is wittingly involved in this. We could see who's going to benefit from this and point directly to who is capitalizing and exploiting her efforts, and that is foreign governments. Definitely George Soros left. I think there's tons, millions of dollars boosting her content while going around and trying to downvote everybody that has any sort of opposition voice to what's going on, or just a sane voice to what's going on. So there's lots of people that are benefiting from this, and it's a perfect opportunity for lots of different actors. And I do think this is a very engineered, very specific, very concerted effort to push her information. And of course, it just causes all kinds of confusion and chaos within the Conservative Party and in the United States in general. Look, I don't think it's by chance that there are ties to the UK with Candace Owens. We saw so much of the stuff, the Steele dossier, operation.
I'll just say it. I told you this off air, but I've talked to high-level people that can't give me the specifics, but they said, like I said, how do you know that? Why are you saying it? I said, well, the Lord and the group, I know they run their ops, mainly the Democrats, against us out of there. And I said, all of her MO now, Islam's not a threat, all this stuff. I said it, and they said, well, yeah. And I said, is she and without me saying, they said, no, she doesn't know what she's doing. It's all her ego. They're controlling her. So, wow. You were making some good points here in the break, and I said, please, sir, make those points to the public about who and what is behind this.
Yeah, I mean, there is a clear concerted effort, and I don't think it's just one entity. I mean, we see what is being done, and we see the effects, and those effects are, number one, TPUSA is being utterly destroyed. They were the most powerful and effective political organization in the United States. We had Charlie Kirk that created this entire momentum, this revolution, this revival of conservatism amongst the youth, especially, that we've never seen before. We created all this momentum that would have definitely carried us through the midterms, and all of that has been stopped. So who benefits from that? Obviously, the political left. So, and then we have the Trump administration being undermined. I mean, my God, there's a whole bunch of people that could benefit from that. Foreign adversaries, of course, the political left, and everybody else in between. And I think Candace is being exploited. I don't think Candace is wittingly involved in this. I think that she is spiteful. I think that she has a lot of animus toward TPUSA. Oh, look, you can look at Candace's enemies. TPUSA that fired her. She has not been close to Charlie for many, many years. That's a fact. She wasn't even at his wedding. And then on top of that, she's mad at TPUSA and everybody that surrounds him because she was ejected from the organization. And then she was talking about the Jews, Israel, all this stuff. And then, of course, she had this beef with the Macrons and the French. So who's guilty of this? TPUSA, Israel, and somehow we had the French Foreign Legion involved with this. And, of course, we have the National Guard, people in maroon shirts, anybody. So we could see who's going to benefit from this and point directly to who is capitalizing and exploiting her efforts, and that is foreign governments. Definitely George Soros left. I think there's tons, millions of dollars boosting her content while going around and trying to downvote everybody that has any sort of opposition voice to what's going on, or just a sane voice to what's going on. So there's lots of people that are benefiting from this, and it's a perfect opportunity for lots of different actors. And I do think this is a very engineered, very specific, very concerted effort to push her information. And of course, it just causes all kinds of confusion and chaos within the Conservative Party and in the United States in general. Look, the government doesn't the government doesn't deserve our trust. We've seen January 6th, we've seen COVID, we've seen the election of 2020. All of those things are real problems. So we are in a state of probably the lowest trust in our government institutions that have ever existed.
And corrupt actors, corporations, and governments know to exploit that now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And look, I want to hold our government accountable. I don't trust them. But, it's kind of like, I don't want to be, look, at the end of the day, we don't want to be tricked. I don't want to be tricked by my government. I don't want to be tricked by another government. I don't want to be tricked by social media personalities.
Well, everybody knows you can be tricked by the IRS and herd. You can be tricked, by a cartel, by a criminal, by a family member. Exactly, folks. There's not just government that you can't trust out there. And when people give you these nebulous, Q-like, Gnostic, I saw Mary's face in the toast this morning, that is meant to manipulate you psychologically. When they say, you don't get any proof, just trust us, you got a problem. Notice all we've given is receipts on her and him, and they can't stand it. They never want to address the receipts.
No, they absolutely don't. And look, I haven't even been able to, there's some misunderstandings and some information that's been put out by the authorities, whether we're talking about Utah or FBI. The biggest complaint that people have is that there's not enough information. I think they've given a lot of information. That being said, we want more. Everybody does. I get it. But we can talk about the distrust of the FBI, the government, Utah, and this investigation. But they're not the ones that brought you the palm gun. They're not the ones that brought you iPhones. They're not the ones that brought you iPhone guns. They're not the ones that brought you flying drones with IR lasers.
Let's just be clear. I had the FBI threaten me yesterday. It's not like we're a little buddy world.
Whether we're talking about our political adversaries, whether we're talking about our frenemies that we call allies, but are also our adversaries, we see so much. Look, I don't think it's by chance that there are ties to the UK with Candace Owens. We saw so much of the stuff, the Steele dossier operation.
I'll just say it. I told you this off air, but I've talked to high-level people that can't give me the specifics, but they said, like I said, how do you know that? Why are you saying it? I said, well, the Lord and the group, I know they run their ops, mainly the Democrats, against us out of there. And I said, all of her MO now, Islam's not a threat, all this stuff. I said it, and they said, well, yeah. And I said, is she and without me saying, they said, no, she doesn't know what she's doing. It's all her ego. They're controlling her. So, wow. And you said that earlier without me even telling you.
Who's controlling her again? Because Candace knows what she's doing. Ed Helfer knows exactly what she's doing. Thank you, Diane. There you go. The average person would be able to say the same thing. Candace knows exactly what she's doing. The issue is she puts out these dumb lies, expects no one to sue her for defamation, get mad if they do, and she doesn't believe the lies she tells. She does this for content. Like she said, she's playing a game of chess, even though it's not chess. Her saying that, it's not something normal people will say. I'm playing a game. I'm not going to put out all the evidence I have, all the information I have. I'm playing a game of chess. No, she has no evidence. She makes these broad general statements that are vague and ambiguous, and then wait for someone to respond to try to confirm or deny what she's saying. And then she feeds off of that. So it ends up being a situation where people are telling on themselves, trying to prove something to Candace they don't owe her. An alibi. Captain Phillips didn't owe her that. And I honestly would find that hilarious if he still made it up. It's not like the Colt is going to believe him anyway. They still don't. So why not troll her ass? If you're going to sit here and talk about here's my alibi, why not troll her? They don't care either way. There's nothing's good enough for them. But she knows what she's doing. She just expects everyone else to believe her lies. She doesn't believe them at all. And I don't know who controlling her. She probably has this, all these people backing her because she's saying the things they want to say. And she has this huge cult-like following. So it has sway on how people think and perceive things. But who's controlling her? I missed that one. It's so crazy. Candace doesn't even want people to go out and vote or actually join the military. She's so evil. Shout out to you, Billy. What's going on? Oh, let's see here. Melinda says, hey, gorgeous. Hope you're having a good night. Thank you. I am. Happy New Year. How you doing? Larissa says, Candace is highly intelligent. She knows which pieces to move. Can she move the piece where she tells us who shot Charlie Kirk? It's been 4 months. She said nothing. Can she also show us that FBI text message or the receipts of those transactions from Club Descent? I mean, whatever is so-called information she's sitting on, why is she withholding it? That would be very evil if she knows someone else out here is a part of it and she's trying to space this stuff out to prolong this content she's doing. If it's not about views, clicks, likes, and money and subs, then why are her cult members and these dumbass bots constantly reminding people that she has all these subs and views? They're confirming what we're saying. What's highly intelligent? Please don't make me have to Google the word intelligent. Don't insult our intelligence by saying she's intelligent when she herself said that she is American ignorant. Candace said that herself. She also says she's an alien. She says she's American ignorant. She doesn't know how planes work. She doesn't care about our U.S. laws, our Constitution, rights and protections of others. She don't give a damn about that. Candace would never be able to just fully recite the First Amendment off the top of her head. But she claims she has logic and common sense. Is it common sense to claim that you're living in an apartment for $3,500 a month that's infested with black mold, and then you file a lawsuit, hire the wrong type of attorney, and then end up having to pay a judgment out to a property management company because you failed to show up for court? You failed to show any damages incurred. You failed to show how it was reckless on the property manager's behalf. And then one of your so-called complaints is recurrent yeast infections and laser surgery. What kind of nonsense is that? This is what she has done. And she lost that lawsuit like hell. She failed to go to court. That goes to show you how she handles litigation matters. She doesn't even take it seriously when it goes to the court of law. So, unless the definition of the word intelligent has changed in the last, week? That heifer is not intelligent. She's a clown, but she's not intelligent.
I told you in the break.
Yeah, I think it's obvious if you're paying attention to what's going on. I mean, look, the scam that we have with it. Look, we have a deep state, a leftist, whether you want to talk about intel agencies, the bureaucrat. Like when we say the deep state, what it means to me is that we have a radical leftist organizations and people.
The left is embedded in everything. They started in the 50s saying we're going to take over the institutions.
And the scam that they have within our intel agencies is they know they can't do surveillance, or they're scared to do surveillance and do information operations on U.S. citizens. So what they do is they just outsource that to MI6. Yeah. They call up their buddies at MI6. Hey, you know what? I need you to look at Trump. I need you to look at Charlie Kirk. I need you, whoever. All right. UK and many of our allies, everybody in the UN doesn't want Trump in office. They don't want a conservative in office. They don't want a J.D. Vance in office. And it just so happens that all of this, what's going on with Candace Owens and all of her other sycophants, is making sure that happens.
Well, remember what Doge found? Doge found 300 million starting 3 years ago because they were listening to his phones knowing what he was about to do. They were secretly already backing Trump, and they tried to kill Trump so he went public. Courage is infectious. And they spent 300 million to Reuters out of USAID and other agencies to target Musk. And we're talking, they fed it out to all the other agencies, PIs, harassed his whole family, attacks on all his companies, the ADL's being sued, they were involved. That's confirmed. 300 million at Musk, and they ran it through Reuters. For people who don't know, that's MI6, boys and girls.
Shout out to Paramount Tactical. Y'all.
On the morning of September 10th, 2025.
There's a video that I'm going to show tomorrow. This is from what we saw the Charlie Kirk shooting, from the view of journalists who were there. Because, God forbid, Candace does not get an interview with a journalist that was there. She says in just, there is no blood or some explosive device, as if no one was on the front row able to see Charlie within 3 arms reach in front of him. You had people that close to the tent where, 2 steps and they would have been right there, on the tent itself. You can't discredit what all of those people witnessed and what they saw in person with their own 2 eyes. And I hope that this, journalist here, the Salt Lake Tribune, don't give that heifer any time of your day. Because she's going to take bits and pieces, chop it up to fit her dumb moot point. So don't give her an interview. You don't owe her one. But we are going to check this out because there were people who were there that actually did, videos. They actually did speak with members of the press. And she's never showed those videos. She only pulls up the ones that she can utilize to make TPUSA look bad. Once again, TPUSA needs to sell Blexit. Sell it. Yeah, here you go. You can have it back. Go figure it out. They didn't have to do this. And look how she repays them. It's so crazy. So, Turkey Tom. Shout out to Turkey Tom. He did a video on the man who murdered Charlie Kirk. And this is 3 months ago, but I'm late to the party. So I wanted to make sure I check this out because at some point we're going to have to start focusing on, the actual shooter. You have these hearings that are picking up. Murder trial is going to be starting this year. And you want to have an understanding of who you're dealing with when it comes to this defendant. We all know he's crazy and evil. But any breakdown that, someone gives with factual information so that people can understand, his intent, his motives, his mindset, because that's exactly what the jury is going to be considering. They're going to have to look at evidence on top of evidence pertaining to the actual act of the assassination, pertaining to the defendant himself. They're going to have to look at this from various angles. So in order to present the case to the court, you got to define the character of the person. That will speak to their intent, what motivated them to do this, on national television of all things. And then he turned around and he turned himself in. His parents went with him along with the sheriff to the police station, to the sheriff's station, and turned him in. So these breakdowns, these analyses are a great way to kind of get familiar with who he is and what he's about. And of course, that does have a difference. It has an impact on the consequences that he has to bear. The prosecutor, they're going for the death penalty. So these are the things that you should expect to hear in court during the trial. So let's get to it. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I appreciate all of you. Turkey Tom has a sizable support. He got 1.6 million. Does that mean Candace owes Turkey Tom an alibi? Here's someone with 1.6 million subs. Candace, one of your minions said, your cult member said, that if you get to the point where you have a huge following, you have to give people an alibi. What was Candace at on the day of September 10th? Because we're just asking questions. Candace, are you involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk? We're just asking. Can't make this up. All right, let's get to it, you all.
22-year-old Tyler Robinson decided he wouldn't be attending his electrical apprenticeship program at Dixie Technical College. At 8:23, he walked to his gray Dodge Challenger, and a little while later, he drove off to Utah Valley University. 3 hours after that, at 11:49, he exited his car wearing a different set of clothes, a cap, dark sunglasses, and visibly limping toward the parking lot adjacent to the UVU campus. He walked up the parking lot stairs, headed to the Low C Center, and then was nowhere to be seen. Meanwhile, conservative speaker Charlie Kirk was hosting one of his debate events on campus, roughly 200 yards away from where Tyler was. At exactly 12:23, a single shot rang out, piercing the left side of Kirk's throat, sending the entire campus into chaos. Although he was quickly rescued and rushed to the hospital, he only lasted for about an hour when his passing was officially confirmed. To add to the already extremely tragic situation, CCTV footage showed Tyler, then unknown to the authorities, fleeing the scene and successfully evading capture, seemingly holding on to a bag with his weapon in it. Part of why he was able to escape were two people who drew attention to themselves immediately after the attack took place. The first is George Zinn, who falsely confessed to the shooting and was promptly detained and was recorded being escorted by the police with his pants down, as he repeatedly asked them to shoot him.
We don't know if it's him or not.
As it turns out, George Zinn is a man with a lifelong career of being a deranged nuisance orbiting political events. There are pictures of him accosting the former Utah House Speaker Greg Hughes, as well as former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani. But more importantly, George is on record claiming to have personally witnessed 9/11 and instantly knowing that Al-Qaeda was behind it. Given Zinn's profile, this was most likely a tall tale, a false account to get attention. Something similar happened in 2013, when shortly after the Boston Marathon bombing, he emailed the Salt Lake City Marathon organizers and offered to help place bombs, which got him arrested for the threats. Other things noted in his legal records are commitments to mental hospitals, being arrested for theft of services, failure to disclose his identity, jaywalking, and other stuff like that. Due to the extremely controversial nature of this entire thing, George Zinn ended up being massively misreported as being Jewish, a narrative that found its way even to former NFL star Antonio Brown. However, George is actually a mentally ill man of Greek descent, with a Mormon religious background and a history of pulling this kind of stuff.
Lord,
Just a
Mormon.
little while after he was detained, they noticed that he had no.
Shout out to you, Carolyn. I think one of you guys asked me about the Macron lawsuit. Yes, they have until Candace attorneys have until January 9th, which would be next week, Friday. Yep. So they have until January 9th to submit their reply to the Macron's response to Candace Owens' motion to dismiss. They just need to go ahead and go to court. So hopefully the hearing for the motion to dismiss will be scheduled within the next, month or so, because they can't keep responding and replying to each other forever. They just need to go to court. So yes, the deadline for the reply is January 9th this year. So next week. I keep saying September. Next week, January 9th. Shout out to you. Now, Candace, if you really wanted to sit here and talk about somebody being in cahoots and plotting and planning something, as some sort of conspiracy of some sort, why don't you just focus on this guy? What the hell was the purpose of Mitch Snow when you could literally be reporting on this guy here? And I'm talking about as heavy as you going out of your way to defend Mitch Snow because, stupid reasons. But someone who falsely stated he shot Charlie Kirk, and all it did was delay them being able to actually get a manhunt going to track down Tyler Robinson. This is the epitome of someone being a part of this plot. Why not go hard in on this guy like she does with TPUSA and Mike and McCoy, or Frank Turek, or TP Faith, or to accuse them of not filing tax documents in time? Why not put all of that same energy, Candace, you heifer, into this clown right here? Make that make sense. She religiously attacks TPUSA, all of Israel, Jewish people, Ben Shapiro. But she doesn't put the same energy into this person here who could very well be an accomplice. I don't see anyone in their right frame of mind just saying, yeah, I did it. It's me. And then you're giving time for the actual shooter to get away. Of course, people are going to ask if he was a part of it. I don't think anyone really said, no, Tyler Robinson, Jesus Christ, Tyler Robinson acted alone. Clearly, if there is a connection that can be made with this idiot here who literally lied about being the shooter, and he did it conveniently, it seems like he gets excited about doing stuff like evil stuff like this. Why can't she talk about this? Why can't the connection be made to Tyler Robinson? Because it doesn't really make her a lot of money. You can't make this up. If she would have focused on this guy, she would be able to at least help put a connection together. She can't do that. She can barely read. You can't be
weapon on him, and there was no weapon discarded in the area he was in, meaning he couldn't have committed the crime. This doesn't mean he was innocent, though, as when the police brought him in for processing, he had a medical issue that led to him being taken to a local hospital. There, he admitted that he did what he did to purposely hinder law enforcement from getting the real guy. And when asked by cops for his phone, he volunteered, but not before informing the police that he had illegal material involving children on it. As if that weren't enough, he then specified to the cops that he was in possession of the material for his own gratification and had a preference for girls from ages 5 through 12. Given this guy already has dozens of previous cases, I hope he stays locked up for good.
Why was he there? And he was there to be a disruptor and to be a distraction. But yeah, that's a good question, C-Star. Why was he even there? Of all places he could have been, why was he there? To me, that, smells like a collaboration of some sort, where he did this intentionally. He knew it would slow down law enforcement from catching Tyler Robinson. But it's like, if he just was not, obviously he's not a supporter of TPUSA or Charlie Kirk, so why else would he have been there? Those are real questions you can ask based on logical deduction. And the fact that he actually does this often, this is not a one-time thing for him. So, that's something she could be just going in on, but she won't do that because it's too much like right.
Another person of interest that immediately emerged following the attack was a man named David, who was recorded cheering and chanting USA immediately following the shot. While this man's full name is harder to find than George Zinn's, he actually took to Twitter to identify himself as the one chanting, trying to explain that he did it to draw attention so the security team could escape. At face value, this is extremely suspicious, and although it's unsure if this was the second person whom law enforcement detained, it would make sense given he gave them a good reason to believe he was at least involved with whoever committed the assassination. However, a brief examination of his social media account makes it clear as day that this man too is clearly suffering from some intense delusion. In videos he posted, he suggests that Charlie Kirk was a soldier of his and speaks from the perspective of every major religion, which you don't need to be a mental health specialist to recognize as a telltale sign of schizophrenia. Despite George and David clearly committing obstruction of justice, there is no evidence indicating that they were in on what happened. Over the course of the next day, law enforcement swarmed the location and started piecing together the shooter's movements leading up to the assassination, and a series of strange things were discovered. While examining the vantage point and CCTV footage that showed his escape from the scene, they eventually found that the killer had dumped his weapon nearby, wrapped in a towel. The weapon, which is a Mauser Model 98 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle with a mounted scope, was found along with its bullets. The casing, which was spent, had the words "Notices bulge, oh whoa, what's this?" engraved on it. If you're familiar with this kind of language, which I unfortunately am, this is a meme phrase usually associated with traps. Basically, the idea of it being that the speaker is attracted to a person who looks like a woman only to find out that they have a bulge, which the speaker is then interested in. And the word "oh" being a classic emote associated with anime. The intended irony here is obvious, as Charlie Kirk is infamous for his opposition to transgenderism. So having this phrase engraved on it immediately suggests a political motive. There were 3 more casings, all of which were unspent. The first one read, "Hey fascist, catch," followed by an up arrow, a right arrow, and 3 downward arrows, which is the stratagem code for the Eagle 500-kilogram bomb in Helldivers 2. Like the previous casing, this one also had a clear political message with an internet culture-related element. The second unspent casing had a brief passage of the song Bella Ciao on it, an old Italian folk song closely tied to the anti-fascist movement. Again, clearly political in nature. Although, unlike the other ones, this one has no internet subculture aspect to it. Lastly, the third unspent casing read, "If you read this, you are gay. Lamau." These casings alone strongly suggested that whoever the shooter was, it was someone young, at least someone young enough to be familiar with these online phrases. Unfortunately, even with the prints being lifted from the weapon, they weren't able to identify a culprit. At least to the public's knowledge, these prints didn't immediately reveal the shooter's identity, although they would become useful whenever a person of interest was detained. For the next day or so, despite information slowly being made available to the public, it didn't seem like law enforcement were making significant progress in the case. Given how high profile an incident it was, and how much it had inflamed the United States as a whole, people were pretty worked up. and unsurprisingly, they launched their own investigations. Once again, things get a little tricky, but this time around, it's a bit more complicated. It's important to say that as far as any of us know, none of these people are responsible for, implicated in, or in any way related to the assassination. However, it is important to take everything into consideration, especially considering how ominously foreshadowing some of the posts I'm about to talk about are. The first of these is a set of tweets by someone named Omar, with multiple Twitter handles. The tweets from the 9th of September read, "Charlie Kirk is coming to my college tomorrow. I really hope someone evaporates him, literally. Let's just say something big will happen."
First of all, don't come for my mod. Absolutely. Absolute trail. Don't come for my mod. Troll, whatever you are. Don't come for my mod. This is the epitome of these goons having an issue with someone disagreeing with them. But yet, they want to sit here and root Candace on for this fake investigation she thinks she's doing on behalf of someone that believed in debate, that believed that you had the right to disagree. Because hypocrisy is something else. The word of the month in the Lady Luck Club. Hypocrisy. Don't come from my minds. We don't have to believe anything Candace says. We don't care how she feels. I'm not here to change the minds of cult members. But don't cause someone a joke because they don't agree. We don't have to. We owe her nothing. And it is rude. Don't come from my mind.
Tomorrow. After the shooting happened, this person came back to Twitter to say, "Charlie Kirk got shot. Bro, I promise I didn't have anything to do with it. But I called it and it's so deserved." Eventually, this person took down their own Twitter account and someone completely unrelated took the other handle to prevent it from being taken and used by scammers. Side note, this only kind of worked because if you look up the handle on Twitter now, the first result is a fake account promoting a crypto scam in the name of Charlie. Pretty disgusting stuff. As people saw this tweet and had a revelation of someone who accurately called that this would happen, someone looked up that handle on Google, found the first picture of a person, and then spread the claim that this person was Omar or Najra Galv's, their Twitter handle. The thing is, if you look up someone's Twitter handle online and go on the images tab, you may get the images of any account that may be associated with theirs for whatever reason. They could have replied to each other years ago and it pops up. In this case, the person in the image is an account named Michaela Ultra from Seattle, whose account is now protected. The thing is, decoupling these two accounts was not enough for a lot of people, who promptly went through their tweets and found a reply from Michaela Ultra to a limited account that expressed they weren't fans of Charlie Kirk. Additionally, 2 other tweets were screenshotted, which read, "I'm crashing out. Coming apart at the seams. You're watching it live in real time. Keep your eyes peeled on the news." When someone replied to them suggesting they would be the next trans shooter, Michaela Ultra replied by saying, "Finally someone who is smart enough to read between the lines and figure out what all my Dr. Pepper posting is about." Now, as ominous as all of that sounds, especially since these tweets were made just a day prior to the assassination, and Michaela bearing some resemblance to AI-enhanced CCTV images of the assassin, the explanation to these tweets lies in the mention of Dr. Pepper. None of the tweets made on the day prior to the attack had anything to do with Charlie Kirk, conservatism, and it clearly wasn't serious, as they were all related to DMs exchanged with the Dr. Pepper Twitter account, demanding to talk to the real Dr. Pepper. On Instagram, they made a post saying, "I am suspended from Twitter, so I can't post proof of life there, but I would like to confirm that I am not the Charlie Kirk shooter." As far as I could tell, MKayla or Michaela Ultra never hinted at doing anything to Charlie Kirk, nor condoned what happened on the 10th. As far as who was really behind the Omar Twitter account, one person was found. First name Omar, last name Najera, like the Twitter handle, who also identified specifically as non-binary, just like the Twitter account. However, this person hasn't spoken out as of yet, and again, there is no specific evidence tying them to the crime. There was someone else, however, with much more incriminating material on their socials.
So the first 2 people he talked about here that were actually there. Why didn't Candace cover this? Is a good question, Wyoming gal. I don't think she covered these 2 people. This is my first time hearing about this guy here with the long hair. This guy here. Why is she not talking about that? I knew about the other guy, the George Zinn person. But that goes to show that it's like Candace is being intentionally distracting. And she wonders why people is asking if she's involved. Who sits here and brings up a Mitch Snow out of nowhere when you have 2 people that were there that went to social media and brought attention to themselves, trying to connect themselves to this assassination here. And they were on the actual campus at the time of the shooting. And somehow you don't think to just, let me talk about these people for a couple of days and figure out what's going on with these people. Do the research first, because you don't want to just throw out people out there prematurely. But, why not talk about these two guys? The fact that she's not even giving it that much time a day at the same rate she does this with anyone in TPUSA, it speaks volumes here. And she claims she's sitting on evidence and playing a game, because she's playing a game. She just thinks she's playing chess. Candace, you're bad at this. You're bad at this. You can't even comprehend chess. This is just flat out stupidity. It's no explanation as to why she will not talk about George Zinn or the other guy. And this guy here, this whole piece here, this is proof that you don't just go out and say a bunch of things, pull people up, and you have not done your due diligence. You have not done proper research. If there's no evidence even linking this person to being on the campus, then it's premature to put them out there, and you can't say there's a connection. It's reasonable to ask if George Zinn is connected to this whole thing with Tyler Robinson. If there was any, agreement, conversations they've had, anything. But she won't even talk about that. She just comes out with dumb shit out of nowhere. Egyptian planes and Mitch Snow. Just stupid stuff out of nowhere. Fort Huachuca. Who cares? You got two people you could be focused on that were actually there. You can't make this up. I don't think she's ever mentioned
anything to Charlie Kirk, nor condoned what happened on the 10th. As far as who was really behind the Omar Twitter account, one person was found. First name Omar, last name Najera, like the Twitter handle, who also identified specifically as non-binary, just like the Twitter account. However, this person hasn't spoken out as of yet, and again, there is no specific evidence tying them to the crime. There was someone else, however, with much more incriminating material on their socials. Much like what happened to Michaela, as people ravenously dug through online posts to find evidence of someone connected to that Omar account who had hinted at what would happen to Kirk, they found a certain Sky Valadez. Sky was a member of a band called God's Finest Scalpel, or simply God's Finest, which was featured on a post of account Click Click Boom. Here, they're tagged as Straight Death, and if that name wasn't suggestive enough of some kind of terrorism, God's Finest had a song titled Charlie Kirk Dead at 31, which was up on its SoundCloud long before the attack happened, and a similar song called Charlie Kirk's Death Isn't Enough for Me on Bandcamp, from an album titled Death to American Scum. While that is all pretty on the nose, it could just be excessively edgy trans activism. When people took to the comments of the Dead at 31 song on SoundCloud, Sky replied, "I'm not a student at any college. I don't support political violence. This song was a massive coincidence, and I'm leaving it at that. I will not take this down, as I believe in my First Amendment rights, and I believe that if you think this is disgusting, you're worried about the wrong thing." This response could have laid the issue to bed, but the people looking into this stuff weren't just looking for potential culprits, but also anyone who knew about the real shooter's plans and didn't report it or try to prevent it in any way. Despite being seemingly completely exonerated, Sky also took to Instagram. "I am not the shooter, nor a current alumni at UVU. I had a dream back in March of this year when I recorded and debuted this song on SoundCloud. It's complicated and cheesy, but I did foresee the death of Charlie Kirk this year. However, not at a conference and not by the hand of a gun. I've never been a fan of Charlie Kirk, mostly because I live under the LGBTQ plus umbrella and disagree with everything he says. Then again, I hate all politicians and politics because it's such a wildfire of a situation already. I do not support the shooting in any way, but I am relieved that a Nazi sympathizer is no longer wasting my oxygen." Unsurprisingly, that second half did very little to...
Man, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. This is, once again, you don't have to like someone to still be a human being and say, no one should be assassinated on national television. Oh my good Lord. Who child? But his two kids got to grow up one day and see all these videos and posts and all this stuff. I mean, Erica Kirk is not going to be able to shield the kids from social media forever. This is so, it's just disturbing. It makes no sense. It's crazy. What's going on, Savs? How you doing? Yep, and the fact that it was a good man and transfer, but boyfriend when she speaks out about trans and going after Brigitte Macron for being trans makes it very suspicious about her agenda. Exactly. She's concerned about Tyler Robinson of all people getting the death penalty. Candace doesn't give any other murder investigation this much energy. Unless she's bashing it. You don't see her giving any other investigation on a murder. This much energy, time, airtime, content. She doesn't pour into anything else like this. And the two people she could be talking about relentlessly that were there on the campus, she won't even think twice about it. It's so crazy. She was 100% friends with Lance and Tyler. I have their area. Okay. CC, what's going on? Sure was. No reply says I have their Steam. Okay, cool. Let's see. C Star said, "Oh my gosh, these people want people to." Yeah, it's horrible. They want people to die. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Thank you all so much for tuning in, as well. Excuse my voice. It's just so it's exhaustion. To be honest with you, but yeah, we had to go over this because I wanted to get this in before the murder trial starts, so you guys can get an understanding of who we're dealing with here. With Tyler Robinson. Your boy, what's going on? No reply. All three Trump assassins have ties to similar groups on Discord and Twitch. 3 mass shooters under Biden presidency will also trend. Okay. Thank you all so much for engaging in the chat and being respectful. Lawyer Love says there was a report of a book predicting Charlie's death was on Amazon a day before 9/10. Someone shared it a while ago. Wow. That's great. Can you link that to me and or send an email on that? Because I can't click links in StreamYard. Can you email me that information about the book? Yeah, S-Files. Yeah, these young people are sick. They have so much hate and just want people like that die. And it's crazy because the cult members of Candace and the bots go out and attack everyone else. But when it comes to her, they want to protect and guard her. And she can't even talk about the 2 men that were on the campus. Make that make sense. If there's no evidence to connect them to it, then there's no evidence to connect them to Tyler Robinson. But it does not mean that they did not obstruct justice. It doesn't mean that they did not lie about being involved. It's so crazy. She could, if she wanted to get content on that and she thinks she's as good as she says she is, wouldn't she just want to talk about George Zinn more? Wouldn't she want to bring up the other guy? People who are there, not sitting here going after Phil Lyman's nephew or his cousin. Oh, he's wearing a blue hat, gray shirt. Must be the same person. No, if you look at details, 2 totally different brand hats, and the shirts weren't exactly the same. Tyler Robinson had a white patch thing on the front of his shirt. The other guy in a photo with 2 other men. One of them just so happened to be Phil Lyman's, I think his cousin. And it was 3 people in the photo. One of them was wearing a baby blue Nike hat and a gray Nike long sleeve shirt. But just because she reached out to Phil Lyman and said, "Can you explain and tell me who the other 2 people in these photos are?" He didn't know. Why would Phil Lyman know everybody that's in his cousin's life? I don't know everybody that my cousins know. I have best friends that also have other best friends. No one knows every single person in your life. So the expectation is so stupid to think that Phil Lyman is supposed to be able to identify everybody that his cousin hangs out with. All because one of them is wearing a baby blue hat and a gray shirt. And she doesn't care about the backlash that comes with that. She don't care that the Coke goes after this and they dox these people. They put their information out there. She had the audacity to say, Phil Lyman is upset with me, justifiably so. It was, yeah, you doxing him. You asking about his mother and all these things. F out of here. But you don't want to talk about George Zinn. Candace is a clown. She's a clown.
Quell suspicions about potential foreknowledge. So people kept digging, and eventually they found a second Instagram account that belongs to Sky called letters_2_bishop. This account had a post with a picture of another band, presumably also in Utah, where one of the members bore a striking resemblance to the aforementioned Omar Najera. This led some people to speculate that they were bandmates, but as per God's Finest bio before Charlie Kirk's death, it was a band of one. There was one last person who was similarly picked up by Twitter as potentially having foreknowledge because just a day prior to the incident, they had said, September 10th will be a very interesting day. While this tweet got tens of millions of views, they continued to be active on Twitter and showed proof that they very frequently made this kind of tweet. So sooner or later, this kind of coincidence would happen by sheer volume. Now, we are going to revisit the topic of people potentially having foreknowledge of the assassination, but at this point, as it stood, it was confirmed that none of these people were the killer, begging the question, who was actually behind the assassination? A whole day and a half after the shooting, on the evening of the 11th, the pictures of the killer in a cap and dark glasses were released. One of Tyler's friends, who was in the same Discord server with about 18 other people, sent the picture to their chat, jokingly remarking that it looks like Tyler and asking him where he was at. Tyler responded saying that his doppelganger did it, to which someone else sarcastically replied, Tyler killed Charlie. Clearly, the mere concept of Tyler doing such a thing was something his acquaintances wouldn't even consider. He was a seemingly intelligent guy, as his mother proudly bragged on Facebook about his 4.0 GPA. He was a mild-mannered indoorsman who gamed a lot, and although he wasn't a Republican like the rest of his family, he also wasn't even registered to vote and didn't express his opinions that much. Because of this, the rest of his server continued to joke about turning him in to collect the $100,000 bounty on the killer, which was eventually raised to $1.2 million, or they made recommendations that Tyler not go to a McDonald's anytime soon, referencing the notorious case of Luigi Mangione, who was caught on CCTV when he stopped to get something to eat. Tyler even contributed some jokes about himself, saying he should get rid of this manifesto and exact copy rifle I have lying around. Over a few messages, he said, I heard the ammo had something about trans stuff on it, but they aren't releasing photos or exact quotes. And also, the claim wasn't backed by the official FBI, just some dude in the briefing room. I am actually Charlie Kirk. Wanted to get out of politics, so I faked my death. Now I can live out my dream life in Kansas. Now, there is some justified debate as to whether the other people in this Discord knew the full extent of Tyler's intents and actions before, during, or after the murder of Charlie Kirk. Partly, it's because these messages were provided voluntarily by one of Tyler's friends, meaning they could have either been tailored by this friend in such a way to exclude anything that would incriminate any other members of the server, or it could mean that due to this friend's forthcoming cooperation with law enforcement, he was given a degree of privilege or protection. While it's highly likely that at least one member of this Discord was aware of Tyler's crimes, it's also likely that multiple, if not the majority of the members had no idea. And some of them even expressed grief over the assassination, remarking that Charlie didn't deserve it. Regardless, Tyler definitely seemed intent on keeping people under the impression that he was innocent, and this included his family. For nearly 2 whole days, he kept his family in the dark, and he probably would have strung them along for longer if he could. But on the evening of the 11th, Tyler's father, Matt, saw the pictures of the killer on the news. To his unimaginable shock, he saw his son being reported about on national television for having murdered Charlie Kirk. Despite his...
If you all look at this photo here, I mean, the blue doesn't even look like the same Carolina baby type blue color of the guy in the other photo. And you guys see here, this white patch right here. It's crazy. It didn't match the same shirt the other guy was wearing. And yet she put up that photo. Like, can you tell me who this person is? It looks like he's wearing the same thing. Is he though? Isn't this shirt black? It looks black. This is the color version of this pic. This is a black shirt, not a gray shirt. And that hat, it doesn't even look like a baby blue at all. And she's just stereotyping people at this point. It's stereotyping. I guess in the world of Candace Owens, all white men look alike. She didn't even try to get the color photos to make sure that they're not wearing the same color stuff. You can't make this up.
His utter shock and disbelief, Matt went to his son and simply asked him, "Tyler, is this you? This looks like you." Tyler immediately confessed. But when urged to turn himself in, he responded, "I would rather take my own life than turn myself in." Matt promptly contacted their local Mormon bishop, Scott Messinger, and asked him what he should do, who said that despite the risk of Tyler ending up getting the death penalty, they had to turn him in, which his father did, while also refusing to accept the reward money from the FBI. Knowing that his fate had been sealed, Tyler felt the urge to come clean to his friends on Discord. "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this. I'm surrendering through a sheriff in a few moments. Thank you for all the good times and laughs. You've all been so amazing. Thank you all for everything." There was no immediate response, and only much later, one of the members sent a message asking that the others pray for Tyler. At 11 p.m. that day, the cops came and arrested him, though what was supposed to give the public some relief ended up just raising even more questions. However controversial this was initially, establishing Tyler's motive was the easiest part. The casing clearly antagonized Kirk as a fascist. His family remarked that he had recently expressed that Charlie Kirk was full of hate, and his growing left-wing sentiment coincided with his distancing from his family's Mormon religious practices. The fact that he committed the crime was also an easy task to prove, as they forensically recovered a note that he had written and attempted to dispose of, wherein he said, "I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." On one of his devices, they also found communications with a roommate, not named in the affidavit, about needing to retrieve his rifle. This leads me to think that he acknowledged he had made a mistake in leaving his weapon behind and wanted to go back to get it. But he took too long, and law enforcement got to it first. With the weapon and the towel it was wrapped up in, they found DNA that was a match for Tyler's. As far as the crime itself, it looked pretty open and shut. That is, until further consideration was given to other people being potentially involved in the lead-up. You see, soon after his capture, Tyler went completely silent and has refused to cooperate with the police, which led the public to discovering en masse that a lot of the finer pieces of information about his online activities came from someone else. While the roommate was initially anonymous, that didn't last long, as a neighbor of Tyler's came forward to speak with the media, and some pretty interesting things were said when the topic came up, and the neighbor claims to have witnessed them together.
Were they holding hands?
Yeah, they were. So, yeah, they drove off in his car, the Dodge Challenger.
And so they looked like they were couples?
Yeah.
There's some published reports out there that this individual, the roommate, may have been transitioning. Did that correlate with what you saw?
Yeah, definitely. I remember them talking about a doctor's appointment. It was about 2 weeks ago, I would say.
And they were kissing?
Yeah.
Do you know, where did you see them kissing?
Has Candace ever played this video? Has she ever played this video? You have people out here doing interviews, and she's not even looking at these videos. This is so crazy. Let's get in some comments. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We are definitely live, and I appreciate all of you all. Make sure you hit that like button. Let's see here. Make sure you guys go check out the S-Files got up the Storybox YouTube channel link. And S-Files also has a channel. Make sure you post up your YouTube channel link as well, S-Files. Go and show some support to my fantastic mods here in the LLC, as well as Foxy Angel Zone. She has her YouTube channel link. Writer Albert Lanier is in the house, so make sure you guys go check him out. Let's see. Thank you for the $3 super sticker, Jersey Girl. I appreciate it. Your generous contribution. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Here's writer Albert Lanier's YouTube channel link. Make sure you guys go check it out. And Foxy Angel Zone. So, did she ever look at this video? Because this is the stuff that she could be showing you, where you kind of get a better understanding talking to the people that knew Tyler Robinson. I mean, her saying, I believe he's involved, but he didn't pull the trigger. And everyone that has talked to the media, especially with him turning himself in, no person in their right frame of mind are going to turn themselves in. And when I say right frame of mind, I mean stable-minded individuals. Because George Zinn is not stable-minded. And yet he tried to take credit for this. But a reasonable person are not going to just turn themselves in for this type of high-profile murder like this. It's crazy. And he turned himself in. And there are interviews with neighbors and stuff, people who knew him. No reply said Lance had another BF named Quinn, and Tyler had another BF who I can only identify by his screen name. I have one image of him. That's all, but lots of logs. His name is Abur. Obur. Let me know if I'm mispronouncing that. The Maximus podcast says, I don't know if this is outdated, but we talk about how Candace was comparing two white dudes. Yeah, she was comparing the one of the cousins of Phil Lyman, who took a photo with two other guys on the campus because they went to the campus and they retraced the steps of Tyler Robinson. One of the guys in that photo with Phil Lyman's cousin was wearing a baby blue hat and a gray shirt. And she reached out to Phil Lyman. This is based on what she said. And asked, can you identify the two other people in that photo? And of course, he said, I don't know who they are. He's a cousin. Like, why would she expect someone to know every person that the cousin hangs out with? They have a sizable age gap where they have more of an uncle-nephew, I guess, relationship, but it's his cousin. And so she looked at that photo and the photo of Tyler Robinson and was like, oh, it looks like they're dressed alike. So, but she didn't even try to get information from Phil Lyman first. He was already pissed off at her for putting him out there, his mother and the cousin, simply because they went to the campus to retrace the steps of Tyler Robinson. So he was doxxed, in other words. And it was absolutely insane. And then she said, he's, upset with me, rightfully so. Yeah, because you doxed him. That's a cybercrime. But that's goes to show she doesn't do any research. So that's what I meant by, Candace having this stereotypical idea. Because how can you look at these photos when he's clearly wearing different clothes? Even if he changed, you can't prove that the other person in the photo with Phil Lyman's cousin is the same person as Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson, who was arrested, gave up DNA and fingerprints. So really, if you look at the actual DNA evidence, it's going to turn out to be a totally different person. But things like that, she's not trying to even look up and research. And it just comes off like she's sitting here, as if she thinks all white men look alike. It's crazy. And yes, I know she's married to George. It still doesn't stop her from stereotyping people. It's so crazy. Sorry, my daughter called. You're all good. All good. Ex Samurai said it's because she doesn't care. Exactly. Candace already said she doesn't care about the investigation. I remember you talking about Obori. Billy said conveniently no. She's never brought this video up because that's what I was asking. He said Candace is making big money. Yes, she is. For all the wrong reasons. It's so crazy. I have so much research on this. I would say that I might have done the most research on this whole ordeal. You know what? I believe you. Candace doesn't research at all. It's so crazy. Stitcher Lover said, I've watched every episode, not because I like her, because I like to debunk her on Facebook, and she hasn't shown these interviews at all. Thank Stitch Lover. Shout out to you. Make sure you guys go check out Stitch Lover on your on Facebook. This is what I mean. Candace has to be debunked because her recklessness is getting people doxxed, bullied, harassed, misidentified. And they have to worry about this cult-like following chasing them down on social media, on Twitter X, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. They have to be subjected to this cyber harassment. All because Candace put their photo up saying, I think it's very suspicious that this boy is wearing a green hoodie. Can anybody identify who this person is? He didn't want to give me an interview. Like stupid stuff like that. So yes, she must be debunked because people are being harmed. And even here, Erica Kirk say that her and the kids are getting kidnapping threats and death threats even the more. She doesn't even care about the kids, but she won't watch these videos. It's so crazy. These videos are here. if she wants to actually look at both sides. But she refuses to do it because it's more sensational for her to sit here and attack TPUSA and then rope them into giving her a response or alibis and all this dumb shit. And for what? When she won't even watch these videos here. Candace is not an investigator. She's an impersonator, and it's a felony.
Just come out.
While there was some initial pushback to the narrative that Tyler was in a relationship with this roommate of his, this testimony from his neighbor went a long way to solidify this in the public sphere. An unknown source in law enforcement had already attested to the same story. And with this much scrutiny and attention on something, keeping this person's name a secret was basically impossible. Eventually, people found Tyler's Venmo account where one name stood out, Lance Twiggs, who frequently received money from his mother for prescriptions and doctor's appointments, fitting what the neighbor had told the media. On Saturday, September 13th, the Daily Mail published an article identifying this transgender roommate and romantic partner of Tyler Robinson, with the person listed in the affidavit as a cooperator with law enforcement. In it, Lance's TikTok account, Cookies and Cream, was attached, but most of that account's posts consisted of gaming clips. It turns out this account was apparently shared with someone named Quinn, or Youngest Kami on Twitch, who didn't have any relation to Tyler. In turn, this led people to consider that this may not be Lance's main account. By simply checking the follows on it, you can find Lance's actual account, Lance Alotl, although nothing related to Tyler can be found here.
No, I don't think the kid was... Phil Lyman is older. I think he's like a congressman or something like that. He does something with politics. But he's older. But she went after him and doxed him, and then was talking about, I find it interesting no one knows about his mother. We find it interesting, Candace, that you don't talk about your mother. Because that's going to be next on the list. You and your background, Candace. You already got Alex Jones coming for you, and George. Because Boys Club won't stop any of this. This is insane. No one knows anything about Candace's folks, though. Only one relative has done an interview. And she basically was like, well, Candace has been like this all her life, but it doesn't make it right. It doesn't justify her actions in doxing people still to this very day. That is illegal. But yet and still, she doesn't talk about her family, her relatives, her mom, her dad, nobody. But she wants to know about Phil Lyman's mother. I mean, the woman has to be well over 75. And this is what she does. All just to try to bully him to talk to her. It's so stupid. But she won't talk about her people. So, Candace, you got it coming. Alex Jones will not spare you anything. He's just not. And we're here for it.
Mostly because the majority of the posts come from long before Lance would have been his roommate. As this news grew to national proportions, relatives of Lance's began to speak out, claiming that Tyler and Lance hated conservatives and Christians. Going on to say, I think Tyler got a whole lot worse in the year they've been dating. They are big gamers, and obviously they have that group that influences them as well as others. Lance disclosed that he had a boyfriend, not to me directly. He wanted to have lunch with other family members to introduce his boyfriend. I was afraid he might hurt someone. Lance is not a healthy person. He's very angry with anyone who is supportive of conservative ideals and Christian values. As far as I know, he was not going by another name. I just know he was in the process of transitioning. I know he was trying to take different medications. Now, I should note that I'm exclusively going off of what's on the news, as misinformation related to this aspect of the story peaked on Twitter. But based on a collection of testimonies from multiple and mostly anonymous relatives who were spoken to by the media, both Tyler and Lance were black sheep of their families to different degrees. Tyler was mostly described as resigned from any social activity, being a big gamer since a very young age in a way that is almost disarmingly relatable. He wanted to develop games. His friends described him as fun to be around, despite being shy and quiet. Lance, on the other hand, was seemingly more outspoken and angry about his views, which was described by a relative, which signals a greater degree of comfort expressing them. This also fits their online presence, as Tyler had seemingly no significant public profiles, while Lance had multiple. This includes the aforementioned TikTok, a now privated Instagram account, and possibly the most revealing one out of all of them, a Reddit account. Before I get into the actual contents of Lance's Reddit, it's important to note that due to the lack of information up until this point, a lot of people resorted to creating imagined versions of this person that were convenient to their preconceptions. Some people were prone to immediately and completely exonerate Lance due to his cooperation with law enforcement. Others leaned toward the narrative that he was at least complicit, if not actively pushing or pressuring Tyler to do what he did. Unsurprisingly, neither of these assumptions were exactly true. His Reddit history goes back over half a decade, and up until 2024, there are several patterns we can pick up on. For example, very early on, around 2019, you can find references to jokes about killing furries, criticisms to J.K. Rowling for making Harry Potter characters gay, and even positive comments on campaigns like "It's okay to be white," as well as criticisms of how Black people were socially allowed to exclude white people from their spaces, but not the other way around. Clearly, in 2019, Lance wasn't what you'd call a staunch left-winger, to say the least. But something changed in 2020. Before, Lance often made positive posts relating to other Reddit users over his intent of getting his video game addiction under control, wanting to start lifting weights again, get good grades, and find a girlfriend. After 2020, one of the first significant posts on his account is him arguing with other people over transgenderism. Specifically, Lance can be seen calling his old self transphobic and claiming that children should be allowed to transition. It also seems he began exploring existentialist philosophy, taking an interest in Nietzsche and Stoicism as they related to managing suffering and negative/painful situations that you wish to be out of. By 2022, he was already posting to subreddits like femboy_IRL and r/196. Both of which are well known for their predominantly trans user base. This isn't to say he was a conventional left-winger, though, as multiple posts signaled that he was sufficiently far left and that he no longer believed in political parties altogether, claiming that all they were after was money. Another interesting sign here is his continued investment not only in video games, but also in websites like 4chan, and more specifically, the R9K board. If you want a slightly deeper dive into what goes on R9K, you can watch my video about Reiko's femboy cult, but to make a long story short, it's infamous for being full of rabid incels, transgender people, and combinations of the two, all of whom are bonding over feeling socially excluded or otherwise dysfunctional. If you've been listening to what I've been saying, then I think you're starting to get the idea. All of this automatically put Lance squarely outside of the regular political spectrum. And although he was clearly left-wing, he definitely felt ambivalent about a lot of issues. For example, in one instance, he actually made fun of people who got upset that the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, Scott Cawthon, had donated to Republican politicians, and complained about incessant Russia versus Ukraine discussions creeping into the subreddits he frequented. At a surface level, Lance wasn't an extremely rigorous left-winger. He posted on the Jordan Peterson subreddit criticizing echo chambers and expressing his distaste for how much of the sub had been overtaken with political discussions, while also specifying that Jordan had been pivotal to his personal growth, complimenting his 12 Rules for Life book and defending him from detractors. Another expression of his lack of political rigor is that while he posted a lot on a joke sub called Love for Landlords, which sarcastically praises landlords while depicting them as the most cruel and greedy capitalists imaginable, he also posted to r/no working, which parodied the infamous leftist sub r/anti-work. But make no mistake, in spite of his overall lax attitude towards politics, there were some things he took more seriously, and he only grew to take them more seriously as time went on. First off, he unsurprisingly had a more concerned approach when it came to gender ideology, condemning misgendering, and even raising an issue with how the left commodified the trans rights cause. Oddly enough, his post about it is on the r/anarcho-capitalism subreddit, although it doesn't seem like Lance has any other activity associated with libertarianism, besides a few passing comments on the legalization of drugs. Before he had any cohesive political beliefs, from a young age, Lance struggled with substance abuse. While he took an interest in subreddits like r/shrooms and r/acid, it's his post on r/alcoholism that is the most revealing out of all of them. In a reply to someone talking about how alcohol can cause blackouts, he wrote, "I appreciate the resources. I'll definitely read through the Alcohol Explained book. The blackout piece was solid. I don't think about choking. I am so glad I can't fall asleep on my back. It kind of saved me there. Lol. I kind of feel like it's too late on the addiction part because I did a ton of weed earlier in my teens and I can tell it messed with my energy and attention levels. And I mean this in no edgy or depressing way, but I don't really see myself making it past about 25 at this rate. So I'm not too worried about the long-term effects. I think I'll wait until legal age at least to try any alcohol again though." While this is quite revealing on its own, with Lance expressing a certain degree of hopelessness about his own life expectancy, it gets more interesting when you check the other comments on this thread and notice he's replying to all of them. Based on this, despite the original thread now being deleted and having its contents, as well as who created it, hidden, the Wayback Machine reveals what was originally there. In the thread's body, Lance, who would be 19 or 18 at the time this thread was made, tells a story in which Lance drank anywhere from half to a whole bottle of 40% vodka in 2 hours, while simultaneously being high, blacked out, and waking up with vomit everywhere. Clearly, there was something wrong with him. And other posts also have him talking about suffering from bulimia. Although there are some associations between eating disorders and substance abuse, and also with both of those things and gender dysphoria, what's important to focus on here is how it all contributes to his aforementioned hopelessness. The idea that he'll be dying soon no matter what. Based on other posts of his, Lance identified himself and his friends as abandoning religious beliefs, and even described a situation in which his family basically disowned him relating to it. While this matches the testimony of one of Lance's relatives, it doesn't tell the full story, as he continued to live with his family for a good while after. Even after he moved out to be roommates with Tyler, the Venmo shows he continued to get money sent to him by his parents, and it's quite likely they helped them with their housing, since the place they shared cost $1,800 a month. And as far as is publicly known, neither of them had very good jobs to afford that kind of place. Even if they had issues with them, both Lance and Tyler appeared to receive continuous support from their.
That sounds familiar. That sounds mighty familiar. You know, Candace also got an apartment she couldn't afford either and didn't pay rent for 7 months. You can't make this up. This is insane. Insane. You have people who are just, I mean, they're disturbed. They have no, it's like they don't even know what they want to do or try to figure out anything right now. It's not working. This is what happens when you spoil your kids, people. When they get of a certain age, they should be completely reliant and dependent on themselves, their job, on God, but not parents still paying rent, taking care of them like this. And they're all over 18. This is insane. What was his excuse for not working again? Was he in school? What's the reason why he couldn't get a job? Don't spoil your kids. Because this stuff right here, I'm wondering if the parents even had an idea that all of this was going on. And they didn't really try to talk to them about it. Because this is odd behavior. If your kid has been consistent, even when they get older. And the next thing you know, there's this drastic difference going on. Talk to your kids. Their parents didn't know, but the parents was paying rent for an apartment they would not be able to afford. And neither one of them working. At least he wasn't. It's a sin. Man, come on. Candace won't talk about this though.
Families, despite their lifestyle. While there has been a lot of conflicting information about this, Lance was indeed undergoing a transition, at least as of a year ago, as he could be seen talking about the effects of HRT on r/trans DIY about a year ago. Soon after that, about 10 months ago, as of me writing this, he already mentioned having a boyfriend, which coincides with the reports he was in a relationship with Tyler. There's one last bit of info that I think is worth correcting. There's been some speculation that Lance's Instagram bio having the word fish finder is some kind of coded message about grooming minors into becoming trans. While that is a very real phenomenon, with the likes of Giggly Goon Clown being obsessed with doing exactly that, in this case, it's incorrect. Not only is Lance on the record years ago talking about how much he likes going fishing, but he also has some posts criticizing online trans communities for calling other people eggs, which basically means they're trans but haven't discovered themselves yet. With all of this established, and paired with testimonies from their relatives, there was nothing particularly unusual about their upbringing. This extremely sad and dark picture from Tyler's mom's Facebook shows him in 2013 playing a game on his computer. Lance is no different, although instead of performing really well academically, like Tyler, Lance actually seemed more socially well-adjusted and artistically inclined.
My name is Lance Twitz. I am playing country concerto for young pianists. And I like piano because it gives me something other than playing video games to do with my fingers.
No reply said the mom definitely knew. This is crazy. Turkey Tom did a lot of background research on this. No fish finder means that they're looking for trans people that look like women. Oh, wow. Y'all boy said, I believe that. I think Candace got real lucky and got introduced to some upcoming conservative mover and shakers and gave conservatism a try. Conservatives is not part of her character. Exactly. I mean, you can add Christianity to that too. It's hard to believe she's a Christian at this point. Candace doesn't even talk like she has a conscience. This is insane. I fear God too much to do half the stuff she does. She lies like hell. And you have people out here that she could be covering and doing some research on, just like what Turkey Tom did here. And she won't even do it. I did see one video with the cousin doing an interview. Yeah, and Turkey Tom has 1.6 mil subs. She could have easily done something like this and brought more attention to it. But she'd rather sit here and attack TPUSA that goes to speak to her character and her intent. The intention doesn't seem to be, I actually want to get evidence to see who pulled the trigger on the gun. It's like she's trying to conform this nonsense and the BS around it being the fault of TPUSA because she's trying to get revenge and be vindictive towards them. That's all this is. She's creating an issue with TPUSA that should not exist. TPUSA has got to stop responding to Candace. They've got to stop sitting here being afraid of her cult because it's a cult. And the dumb bots. They have got to stop doing this because information like this, it gets lost in translation. And instead of her bringing light to this and doing some research on this, she's trying to find a way to attack TPUSA because reasons. This girl holding a grudge over something that she brought on herself. And she thought that people were supposed to just accept all of her ideas or agree with it. No one owes her that. No one owes her that. She's just completely vindictive. Candace is vindictive. So I do see it. Speaking of her family, because she don't talk about her people. Speaking of her family, her cousin did an interview. The video was like 24 minutes on Storm Monroe's channel. Is this the full video? Because I want to make sure when we do go over it, we can go over this actually. But when we do check this out, that I got the full actual interview because the video I'm looking at is 24 minutes. So if this is the one, then let me know. And we will definitely go over that tomorrow. All right, y'all, let's get back to it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button.
But from 2019 to 2024, both of them slowly moved from somewhat apolitical to left-wing, with a large emphasis on the topic of trans rights. While Lance's was well documented through his own Reddit, Tyler's was quieter. But there, nonetheless, a former classmate of his describes him as being a Reddit kid. Seemingly, just like something happened in 2020, a similar effect took place in 2024 when Lance and Tyler moved in together, and their families started to notice both of them feeding off of each other and becoming more politically inclined. For a few days after the assassination, the exact dynamic between them was unknown. But just a few days ago, their final Discord messages to one another were released, and they read as follows. Tyler, drop what you are doing. Look under my keyboard. Lance, what? You're joking, right? Here, Tyler is referencing the note I had mentioned earlier that had been destroyed and was recovered, where he declared he was going to take Charlie's life. Their conversation continued. Tyler, I'm still okay, my love, but am stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this a secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you.
Job before I do believe that Candace's intent and motive is purely out of vindication and being revengeful. Because I don't know anyone that sits here talking about we're asking questions, but yet everything seems to be directed towards TPUSA. Everything. She's already said that Charlie Kirk, somehow, who she had unfriended, was going to bring her back on the stage. And she was so close to being reunited with Charlie Kirk on stage with TPUSA. It's like she's seeing this from an angle of someone took my opportunity to get back into TPUSA and be next to Charlie Kirk away from me, but not necessarily having any empathy for the fact that his life was taken. To her, I was robbed of an opportunity because I would not have said, they were going to have me come on the stage with them. And somehow now TPUSA didn't want her to be reunited with Charlie Kirk. And then she turns around and makes comments about being on their payroll for PR. Because all of this is a game for her. She said it best. I'm playing a game of chess. She's playing a game. She's not taking any of this seriously. Just like she goes in on Daily Wire. She goes back and gets all this revenge and is completely vindictive towards these companies that didn't owe her anything. They didn't have to maintain employment with her. They don't have to agree with her views. What she's doing now is what she should have done a long time ago. Have your own podcast. Don't sit here and get upset because Daily Wire or PragerU or TPUSA, all three of these jobs, these opportunities, wanted to get her the hell on. Whether it was a forced resignation or her being fired, breaching contracts. 3. And these are primarily conservative organizations or agencies that catapulted her to where she is. And when she does her own podcast, she claims that she has #1 status here. So this is something she could have did a long time ago. But as opposed to her saying, you know what, I got my own show. It's all good. I've got over 5 million subs. Most of them are bots. And, the rest are cult members. So I think I'm good. I can work for myself. I have a lot more control of my schedule, the things I want to talk about. No, she's too busy trying to be vindictive. It's a waste of energy. TPUSA will never rehire her. She cannot bully her way back into TPUSA. They're not sending her. They need to cut all ties and sell Blexit. And if they were to do that, imagine if they even said it. Imagine if TPUSA said on Twitter X, or they did a quick video, we're thinking about selling Blexit here. We acquired it. It was in the hole by negative 1.7 mil. And now we're at a point where we're thinking about selling Blexit and getting it from under our umbrella. You can only imagine what the responses would be. That goes to show what her true intent and motive is here. She's still waiting for this reunion phase. Talking about being on their payroll for PR. They don't need her BS. And if she hates half the people there, why would they allow her toxic ass to come back to TPUSA again? Candace is extraordinarily toxic. And she wants things to go her way and be in control. So the last thing she should want is to have a reunion with someone else's company, and she can't do what she want to do. She can't say what she wants to say. So why just focus on them like this to the point where you're accusing them of being involved? They know more than what they say they know, but won't even play Turkey Tom videos. Won't even try to do a little research. She's targeting TPUSA because she's vindictive and petty and soulless. And she has nothing else. And she's upset about not being able to get reunited. Charlie Kirk didn't ask for this to happen to him. The kids don't deserve to have lost their father the way they did. And all she's concerned about is being put on their payroll. It's disgusting. And it's, in my opinion, it's not hard to put the 2 and 2 together. All the videos she's done going for them, everybody there, anybody that loved Charlie Kirk, his best friends, people who were closer to him than she was, full-blown attack. All of that out of vindication. Because she can't even say why she keeps focusing on them. It's the same thing with her in her views about Israel. Full-blown attack mode. And yet, this is what happens when you sit here and talk about lying by omission, Candace, and then the Israeli PM releases a full 7-page letter, and you still don't want to believe it. She's already shown her cards a long time ago. I pay attention. Candace has lost her mind, and we're going to keep debunking her. I think that's a motive. Now it's vulnerable. Charlie Kirk has been assassinated. Now TPUSA is wide open. Yeah, let me go for the goal below the belt. Punch below the belt. She's just absolutely soulless.
Lance, you weren't the one who did it, right? Tyler, I'm sorry. Lance, I thought they caught the person. Tyler, no, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet. Almost quiet enough to get out. But there's one vehicle lingering. Lance, why? Tyler, why did I do it? Lance, yeah. And Tyler responds with the following diatribe. I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. Lance, how long have you been planning this? Tyler, a bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it. I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. I don't even know if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How will I explain losing it to my old man? Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? The messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notices bulge uwu on Fox News, I might have a stroke. All right, I'm gonna have to leave it. That really sucks. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I don't know. I think that was a $2,000 scope. Delete this exchange. My dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it is very unique. He's calling me right now, not answering. Since Trump got into office, he has been pretty diehard MAGA. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. You are all I worry about.
Yeah, see, he turned himself in willingly. That's not something that a person who reasonably believes that they're innocent, because the logic would be if George Zinn wanted to take credit for this, then I will let that happen. But he decided to, even if his parents told him, like, listen, we got to turn you in. You can't do this. Plus, it puts them in a line of fire because they're going to get backlash if they don't turn their son in. Especially when he's been captured on all these video footages. It's so crazy. And she wants to sit here and talk about, oh, he didn't pull the trigger on a gun. None of the stuff she says and does is going to fly in court. It's just not. And Candace does not care. So it just, to her, it's more credence for her to keep pushing these dumb conspiracy theories with no evidence.
Love, Lance, I'm much more worried about you. Tyler, don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. While Lance did follow Tyler's wishes on the first request, he didn't on the second, as he did cooperate with law enforcement extensively as per the affidavit. Now, if you're wondering about the visuals for the messages on screen, those are not the actual screenshots, but instead depictions of what the messages would look like. However, the contents of the messages are genuine. It's technically possible that Lance and Tyler coordinated this exchange beforehand to exonerate Lance of any cooperation, given the pretty performative nature of some of Tyler's messages especially. Given they did live together and shared political views, it's not impossible. But at the same time, it's also possible that, indeed, Tyler concocted and carried this plan out on his own. Given Lance was more expressive and even-minded, while Tyler was much harder to read even by his close friends, it could be that the latter was a ticking time bomb, and his political beliefs about Charlie Kirk, paired with his attachment to Lance, who was trans, were enough to set him off. As it currently stands, Tyler is potentially facing the death penalty, and Lance is nowhere to be seen or heard from. For many people, this was case closed, but other people have pitched the possibility that even if Lance had no foreknowledge, it doesn't mean other people couldn't have. Beyond those I've mentioned earlier in the video, there were a few other suspicious details surrounding the whole incident. For example, a neighbor of theirs claimed that 2 weeks prior to the attack, several people driving cars with out-of-state plates were seen going in and out. Additionally, there were a couple of Change.org petitions by locals who were vehemently opposed to Charlie Kirk speaking at the university, and some of the comments got pretty questionable. Besides the name-calling and political accusations, there were some comments like, no tolerance for Nazis like Kirk. Stop the speaking or someone else will. Of course, this could just be someone making a baseless threat due to how they felt about Charlie, but it goes deeper. A day prior to the assassination, a now-deleted TikTok account called Definitely Not Jackson made a post with the captions, Charles James Kirk, Mr. College Dropout, does not know what's coming tomorrow. Be ready. This isn't a threat. It's a promise. It's a bad day to be Charlie tomorrow. #UVU. Again, this could just be a reference to the debate itself as some illusion that Charlie will get owned or something in the marketplace of ideas. But there's also more. 5 days prior to the shooting, a Twitter user named Fuyoshi Incel said, "You guys, I have something big coming soon. Just be sure to check the news. You'll know it when you see it. Winky emoji face." And within a few hours of the assassination, he came back to say, "Well, that's that. Another chud bites the dust." This account currently appears to be completely gone. Lastly, a TikTok and Twitter user who followed Lance Twiggs by the name of Churbum75M, as soon as the attack took place, tweeted out, "We did it." Adding insult to injury, he followed it up with, "Charlie Kirk deserved that. Let it die." On his TikTok, he set his account to the picture of the moment Kirk was shot, along with a lot of other vile posts about it. By merely searching up his handle on Twitter, it's easy to find that just days prior, he was in hot water for insincerely apologizing for making offensive jokes in a Discord server. With all of those elements put together, this matched the profile of unconventional leftists that would be expected. Churbum eventually shared conversations he'd had with a friend of his, where his friend is saying, "We aren't even old enough to hold a gun without a weapon charge." But of course, at this point, the concern wasn't that anyone besides Tyler actually did it, but instead that other people knew that he would beforehand. He eventually made a tweet claiming that it was all a misunderstanding and he was just an immature teenager scared for his life, despite tweeting out many times afterwards asking to be left alone and saying,
"This is why you got to monitor your kids' social media." This is it here. This is why you got to do it. This is absolutely insane. These messages are off the wall. Catherine says Tyler was probably watching Charlie on his phone waiting for the question, but I want to know how he knew what would be asked. I mean, these are reasonable questions now because it's based on what we're reading from these messages on various social media platforms. That Candace won't talk about this stuff though. Melinda said the charging doc said mother saw it on TV and called dad, if I recall. Yes, I think that's because they did, identify him as well. And we as mothers, we know our children. We know our children. I can pick my kids out if I needed to in a lineup of something. We know who our kids are. We raised them, we took care of them. What's heartbreaking is that, two young people. He did all of this because he didn't agree with something. And you see the candy ass cult members doing the same thing that Tyler Robinson has done. Going after people and attacking because they don't agree with Candace. When that heifer start paying our rent and mortgage, holler at me. You can't make this up. Donna says Lance and Tyler's friend said they talk to each other the way the messages are, which is abnormal. This type of language, their way of communicating here it's like this isn't, I don't get the sense of someone that is in the right frame of mind. And it's not normal lingo, if that makes sense. It's like reading. It's like reading something from the 2025 version of Shakespeare. I mean, it's just fantastical almost. But if that's how they communicated with each other, and Lance himself has cooperated with investigators, we can't say, like Candace can't say, that's not how people talk and then leave it at that. No, you can't dictate how people talk either. So if Lance confirmed these messages are real, this is our exchange, text, post, all these things. They would be the ones that know best as to how they communicated, their communication style, their lingual, choice of phrases, and terminology. All those things factor into the communication piece. And if he can say, yes, this is our communications, these are our texts, who is Candace to say that it's not? She's not producing any evidence to the contrary. But yet, gosh, she's such an idiot. She plays a video where he uses the word vehicle versus car and didn't play the entire video, which was absolutely disingenuous. Play the whole video and let people take from that what they want. But the other half of the video, he actually uses the word. Just blatant lies like that. And the deception and intentional misleading. All of that factors in if someone sues her. If Brian Harpool, TPUSA, Erica Kirk, if these people wanted to sue her, they can speak to this intent here because you are intentionally only playing certain pieces of video footage to try to conform it to your dumb moot point, to your narrative. And you don't care about the backlash that these people you keep naming, photos you're putting up, you don't care about the backlash that they're experiencing. And you can't even play a whole video where Tyler Robinson is using the words either vehicle or automobile or car. Something to that extent. Like you can't play the whole video where he's saying both words. That goes to her intentionally trying to be manipulative and deceptive and misleading. Those words are synonymous with lies. So Candace lies her ass off, and she's too narcissistic to understand hypocrisy. All this information here, she could have touched on, and she just doesn't care. It's disingenuous. And if anything were to happen and come to find out that Candace and her dumbass, conspiracy theories invoked enough doubt into this case, Tyler Robinson could very well walk free. And she doesn't care about that consequence either. This is crazy. That's why I keep telling people to just sue her. They just need to sue her ass because it's the only way she's going to stop putting up information that could taint the jury pool or create some sort of biasness when it comes to the evidence. They have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Thankfully, the defendants, the attorneys for the defendant, they're like, look, these people are wacky. We're getting calls and emails, people telling us what they think and how they feel and what they believe. None of that crap flies in court. You need evidence. So to the mind of the defense attorneys for Tyler Robinson, they don't give a damn what Candace Owens or her cult members think. They don't care. They were like, we can't use this crap for court. And they probably would want to, but they can't because it's not substantiated. It's not valid. It's so far-fetched. There's no way you can get evidence for it. And that's another tactic of Candace. Let me say things that are vague, ambiguous, and so fantastical that it would be impossible to get evidence to prove her one way or the other. So she thinks that she's staying a step ahead when she's not. Because, a lie is a lie. So if you cannot produce evidence, that means that someone filing a lawsuit saying that she's lied and gave false statements with no evidence, they will be meeting their burden because there's no evidence to prove what they're saying. And here this idiot is talking about in the absence of evidence, I'm going to assume. Yeah, okay, Candace. So will we all.
That joking about people dying is wrong. Sherbum continued to make light of what happened, leading many people to be suspicious. Whatever the case is with any of these specific accounts, people are innocent until proven guilty. And I'm not making this video to endorse doxing anyone because of what they post on Twitter. Exactly. If there is genuine suspicion, it should be handled by the authorities. And on the 16th of September, nearly a week after the incident, it was announced by the FBI that there were a lot more than 20 people in Tyler's Discord chat, and that all of them were now under FBI investigation. Another interesting claim is that there was a broad network of groups with intel on Kirk's assassination and the subsequent announcement of investigation of NGOs. Although what exactly this means has yet to be seen. What it could be related to is the recent discovery related to the Utah-based group Armed Queers SLC. Founded in 2020, Armed Queers identified itself as a revolutionary LGBTQ organization whose principles included the end of capitalist oppression and trans liberation. At face value, it looks like nothing out of the ordinary for this kind of collective, but it was discovered that this group was founded and led by a certain Ermia Fanayan, who had won an award from the Utah Council for Citizens Diplomacy in 2022, was once listed by the Utah Global Diplomacy NGO as a young diplomat of Utah, and was listed as being on the payroll of the Utah State Democratic Committee. The scope of this kind of thing is unassumingly huge, as Ermia was a speaker at a UN-affiliated event, and the Utah Global Diplomacy received most of its income directly from government grants. As early as 2019, Ermia can be seen on stage alongside people like Elizabeth Warren. 4 years later, in January 2023, armed queers made now deleted posts about working with the Elm Fork John Brown Gun Club. 2 years after that, just 2 months ago, on the 14th of July, 10 to 12 members of this gun club gathered near an ICE detention center, setting off fireworks and vandalizing vehicles with phrases like ice pig and traitor in an attempt to draw out officers. They then proceeded to open fire on several unarmed officers nearby, succeeding in killing none of them, but they did injure one officer in the neck. Immediately after, all of them were arrested and had their property seized. Multiple of the people arrested had prior criminal histories of similar crimes. Of course, everything I'm saying here is circumstantial, but still, it seems to be enough that the FBI is currently investigating Ermaya about her potentially having some relation, not just to the assassination of Charlie Kirk, but also to any other similar crimes that have occurred recently. Ultimately, it's impossible to know just how much sprawl this kind of thing has, but considering how massive organizations and cults like the Zizians or 764 have gotten, it's best to sort this out as early as possible, before any other crimes can take place. Whatever the case may be, it's an absolute tragedy that Charlie Kirk lost his life. To a lesser degree, it's also a tragedy that people like Tyler got to the point of committing such a crime. Hopefully, nothing of this kind ever happens again. I've been Turkey Tom. Thanks for watching, and until next time, leave me alone.
He said, next time, leave me alone. Man, this was thorough and well done. It really was. I have I see Paramount Tactical did a live stream today. Looks like he had a panel. So that live was about 3 hours. So what we'll do is we'll check that out Sunday, because tomorrow I do want to cover not the full complaint of the federal lawsuit that Candace is named in for that fake ass meme coin. Because Candace, if you are capable of aiding in some scam with a fake meme coin to defraud people, quite possibly, that speaks to the aspect of you defrauding people in any other area. Like, focusing in on this Charlie Kirk assassination to get clicks, likes, views, and money. So she's not new to the aspect of fraudulent behavior, especially when it comes down to how she makes money here. A meme coin. I even have a video of a content creator that goes through the steps of creating these fake meme coins and fake bots to push out this narrative, just like she does with the nonsense she's doing now. She knows she has bots. But there lies the fact that she's not. Candace, you're bad at this. You're not an investigator. You're not even good at reporting basic information. And you have to use bots to push out your nonsense. It's so crazy. So I see here it's the PSYOP behind Candace Owens. So we'll check that out on Sunday. Tomorrow we'll get to I think it's a second video that I want to check out with Turkey Tom. Both sides have done a video, looks like, on Candace Owens' background. And then, of course, the interview with the cousin. We can do that tomorrow, along with going over the lawsuit. Because you all need to see why it's important to go over this stuff, just to show you just the mentality that Candace has. I would never want to even be affiliated with something that is alleged to be a fraudulent meme coin. It's insane. And she could have just done good content and actually been factually based and still be at the point where she is. She's had at least 3 good opportunities to really make the most of the attention that they gave her on the Daily Wire, PragerU, TPUSA. Opportunities to kind of get bumped up a little bit, get into the face of the public. So why use these dumbass bots? And you can tell when she's saying things like she said with her Facebook Live. I'm still trying to get, if anybody got that video to send to me, please let me know. Because we'll go over that tomorrow. And once she does some live stream, all of a sudden you see all this information popping up on Twitter X, on Instagram, on Facebook, all these comments, all these things coming from that one video. So it's like they start pushing out this narrative before people really start talking about it because they're trying to get ahead of it. It doesn't work because they have no evidence. It's not factually based. She just says dumb things that's more distracting. So that's why we, check out Turkey Tom and kind of get an understanding more of who we're dealing with here. So there's another video, Charlie Kirk Killer's Discord logs from Turkey Tom. So we'll do that one tomorrow. Only reason why I wanted to do it tonight, but I'm simply exhausted, you all. And I, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I got to do a Umar video tomorrow. Check out his interviews. So I want to be kind of more well rested to be able to get those 2 live shows in tomorrow. And we have some great content lined up for next week. This is Candace brought this on herself. And you have people out here that are doing their due diligence and actually doing information on the actual shooter, while she's sitting here with yet another lawsuit in her lap. And this is a federal lawsuit. This is in district court. And she doesn't talk about this. So we're going to talk about it. So there are, I think, 2, is an initial complaint, I think is a 3rd amended complaint. So we're not going to go over the full complaints. We're going to do the summary, but I do have the actual complaints. This is Pacer here. So if you guys want to just kind of look at all of the activities, the event, court activities that have been done, I'll put the link here in the chat. I appreciate you all. This is the link to Court Listener so that you guys can see it's 4 pages of just court docket activity. You have the docket numbers here, the dates the documents were filed. Somebody withdrew as an attorney. So I'm definitely interested in seeing that. But we will go over some of this information because Candace is not foreign to the concept of fraud. You wouldn't be named in a federal lawsuit, Candace, if there wasn't sufficient evidence to try to show that at the very least you sold these meme coins, knowing damn well they had no value. It is very possible to be a podcaster and not be named in a federal lawsuit dealing with a fake meme coin. But she is. Here we are. This is crazy. Stuff she doesn't want to talk about. So, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate all of you all. Thank you guys so much for being patient as well. I wanted to go live last night, but I hung out with my best friend here, and I just, I appreciate all of you all. Tomorrow we will go live and cover some more. We'll get the second video in about the Discord logs because I haven't seen that. Thank you guys so much. Let's get into last supers right quick. I got a couple more supers. Thank you all. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Shout out to you. Job for 9 for the $5 super. Thank you so much. That PR comment proved to me that her goal was to be back and head of TPUSA. Exactly. Her and Boys Club. And he got it coming. Because we're going to check out a couple videos that were done on another content creator. Her name is slipping my mind. But she's done 2 videos about George Farmer's background, his association with this bully down club. Just how weird and odd he is. 18 days, you get proposed and engaged and all this stuff. It's almost like an arranged marriage. That's my personal opinion. That's how it comes off. But there are content creators that are kind of diving into his background, and plus the cousin of Candace Owens. I wonder if that's the same cousin she's using to be intimidating to people. She said she uses her cousin to sit around in these meetings and just kind of be there for the ambience and vibes. No, Candace. It's so she can look intimidating. People aren't even scared of your ass. What the hell we care about your cousin, girl? But we are going to check out this cousin's interview that was done because man, I'm surprised her family members aren't speaking out more. What are they getting out of this? This is so crazy. Yep. So the PR comment proved that her goal was to go back and be the head of TPUSA. She wants to be on the payroll. But it's funny how the Cope doesn't push back on that and say, why would you make the statement? You want to go and be on the enemy's payroll? Like they gave her no pushback with that. They just kind of let it ride. It's crazy. It's insane. Pat Brooks, thank you so much for the 1999 super. Hey, Lady Luck, Maz in chat. Great to catch another live. LL, you are awesome. Thank you so much. As you all can see, it does take a couple days to do research properly, and 4 pages of court docket activity. So make sure you guys take a look at that, and we will go over the summaries of the lawsuits tomorrow. The other Turkey Time video, we've got Gary, we're going to do Sunday. And of course, the cousins interview. And if I can get my hands on this Facebook live video that she did either yesterday or today, we're definitely going to go over that. So thank you guys. Hit the like button on the way out. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the Lady Luck Club. Shout out to all the new people here. And I appreciate you all. We're going to sign out and until the next one. Lady Luck Club out. Deuces.